Hello, everybody. We're streaming. I should probably be aware that this is my Discord. All right. Gotta keep it on this screen here, I suppose. Is that even readable? Can people even see that? Oh, yeah. Let me see if I can... Oh, man, I gotta put that on this screen, maybe. Yeah, that'll probably be better. Is that better? Hopefully. Hopefully that's better. Gonna let everybody know that I'm streaming. Let me just make sure my stuff is working. Gonna let everybody know that I'm streaming. Okay. Am I in the right spot? May not even be in the right spot. Where's Daniel Hume? Where that boo-boo at? Oh, he's right there. Hi, Daniel. Daniel, you there? Hello? Can you hear me, Daniel? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can. You said Daniel, so.
Oh, okay,
That's...
cool. Hey, yo, Anthony Blinken just tipped $2 to the super chat saying, my bro from another Mo. What's up, Anthony? It's good to have you here. You know you don't have to donate. I really appreciate you, though, for doing that. It's very nice of you. Anyway, let me turn on my virtual camera. Zippity zoopity, get off my property. Yeah. We're cooking. Though I don't need it. I don't think I need to see it on my end. Show my own camera. No. Are you sure? I'm checking. Show me.
What don't know? We should be fine.
Hi,
my mic
Daniel.
was done. I don't know what's happening. God. I'm good. I'm just.
You asked me to join you on your show, and so here I am.
Yeah, here you are. Thank you very much. By the way, tonight's prompt is anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism.
Yeah, I saw it.
But obviously, you know, we can just talk about like anything. So this is just kind of like, you know, we're just starting it that way.
Yeah.
So
well, I made my my title that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
You can see it on my YouTube now.
Cool. Then I'm just like starting everything right now, and it takes a bit.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna start the event on Discord.
You know, it says... Oh, he's gone. Where did he go?
Yep.
What
I
are we?
don't know.
I'm a dumbass. I forgot about the fact that I need to make all the changes to the. Oh my god. Somewhere else. Voice channel.
Okay, I see.
Kind of annoying.
I think we got a
that I have
first
to do
amender.
this all the time.
Okay, I see we got a first amender here.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Schwifty in chat. It is good to see you. We've got Lemon Demon who said, black supremacy is more of a threat to America than white supremacy. Today, this is very clear. Absolutely not. Completely disagree with that. Black people
Okay,
don't hold all
I
that much
managed to start
power,
the
all
event.
things considered. Was the event started?
Yep.
So,
I was kind of like, like every time, the thing that I have to do, because I do the events in like a regular like VC, I have to always change the event place from the challenge stage to here, right? And every time I cannot nuke the VC before I change it back to the challenge stage, right? So it's like every time at the end of the event, I have to do the other thing. So I just
Gotcha.
forgot. I was, you were here. My heart is fluttering. I'm like very, And I will also start the stream in a millisecond.
Yo, what's up, First Amender? You're back on the server?
I'm helping out Daniel.
I see. Yeah, nah.
You've been here like a few times.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed you being back in here, like being together on a VC and talking to
Trash
certain
talking the
types
white
of people.
supremacists.
Yeah.
First Amender, you remind me a lot of this guy called Fireman Bill.
It is literally impossible. It's like the only way he can remind you of that is if you have some issues.
No, like you remind, like you're like both gay and like I think enough.
Well, the difference between Fireman Bill and I is that I go in favor of whatever the evidence is. And if somebody provides evidence against my position, I will immediately change my position. Daniel has witnessed me do this multiple times.
Yep.
And so, but Fireman Bill specifically creates VCs and bans people out of his VC as soon as they provide him any rebuttal whatsoever. So no, he and I are not equal.
Yeah, it's not even close. I mean, like the difference is huge. I don't think I've ever met like somebody as dishonest as Fireman Bill, like in my life.
Oh, you haven't met me then. You haven't met me.
Well, I mean, again, it's like you can always change my mind, as soon as you start talking to me. I'm not saying that there's nobody worse. I'm just telling you that I've never met somebody worse than him, like more dishonest when it comes to debating. And honestly, he's just like also like plain stupid. He's literally like one of the stupidest people that I've met. And I've met pretty stupid people in my life,
You know what's crazy
I'm in
though?
agreement.
He does follow terms of service though. He does follow the rules. The service.
No, he
TOS.
doesn't.
He doesn't.
He literally
Then how's he
doesn't.
not banned? How's he
No,
banned?
he
That's a
doesn't.
great
That's why
question.
right now, as we speak, just a second, as we speak, he's actually server muted because he didn't follow the terms of service. So yeah, when you're saying that, you're just like factually wrong at the moment, right?
What?
At this moment we're speaking, yes.
Bro, I
Server
thought
muted
like because I've
yesterday?
never seen him like have any punishment. I've been server muted for a
You
bit.
haven't
but
seen him, but I'm a mod in here, and I can tell
I know
you
you're
for
a
sure,
mod.
like, these things. Yeah.
Did he
You're
ban
the
you
mod
from
that
his
server
VC
muted me, bro.
yesterday?
Well, probably you deserved it if I server muted you.
Oh, I don't care. I don't care anymore. I got unmuted. I'm fine.
It's fine. It's like everybody can make a mistake. That's not a problem. you're gonna make a mistake, you're gonna be like punished a bit for it, and then if you're like a normal human being, you're going to recover and get over it and do better, which is something that, for example, Mr. Fireman Bill never do. So it is what it is. So Amender. So I just I don't know if you can see on my YouTube, but I have my graphics where I had myself and Krishan, right?
I do. Yeah, I
and
see
then
it.
I had to cut Krishan. I just put you there.
Nice. Sick.
For today. So yeah.
Sick.
Krishan is gone for the summer.
For the whole
White
summer.
boy summer is on. Yeah. I mean, that's the way he works. So, it is what it is. But anyway, like before, like people join and stuff. There's a reason I thought about this. Anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. I had this particular conversation like fairly soon after October 7th, right? When what happened in Gaza happened, and like the genocide was already in place at that time, and there was like this pretty big anti-Zionist movement forming.
Mm-hmm.
And I had like this conversation like straight up here on this server with people, and I had such a huge pushback from like so many people, telling me that actually anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. And like last week, I think something happened, right? It kind of got me a bit off guard, right? Because I didn't think this would happen. I don't know if you heard the UK travel ban for Cenk Uygur and what's his name, Hassan Piker. Yeah. So they were literally banned from going to the UK, and the reason they were banned was because they're anti Zionist stance and anti-Israel stance. And I found it so weird that there's so many people on the on the right-wing spectrum that actually kind of celebrated like these things, and obviously there were also, like, in all fairness, there were also like some and a lot actually right-wing people that kind of stood with them, right, and said that what's happening is kind of like a travesty, especially since they're also like journalists, right? So you're kind of like shitting on the freedom of the press, right, in a way.
Yeah.
So what do you think about it? Like, I don't know if did you hear the news? Did you not hear the news?
No, I did not.
them?
But I mean, from my perspective, I mean, Palestine has existed in the past. Where Israel stands today, it was only as a accordance with the West that we decided to forcefully split up land and justify the Nakba, which made me consider that we are actually hurting innocent people. And currently, the way that Israel stands, as that I'm aware of, is that they want to establish an ethno-state. They want to enforce an ethno-state. They use the Israeli Land Authority to wrest land from Palestinians and give it to Jewish people with no basis in law. They just do that. And so by that virtue, I'm just against any ethno-state. It doesn't matter who it is. If it's, Jewish, German, white, black, brown, I don't believe in ethno-states, period. And so when I hear like anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism, I agree. I think that you can be anti an Israeli ethno-state while also realizing that Jewish people have a right to exist and live as well. That's my perspective.
That has always been my take, right? Whereas I don't necessarily think that like states have a right to exist or like whatever. It's like I don't really care about states in themselves. What I care is about people.
Hmm.
You know, and if you know some people want to get together and you know, make their own thing, and you know, without hurting other people, that's fine. But every time, as you pointed out, right, like every time you're talking about an ethno state, I think that any ethno state by definition has to kind of like stomp
It'd
on
have to
other people's
exclude
rights.
groups of people.
Yeah. So that can't be good, right? I mean, nobody would say that, you know, Nazi Germany has the right to exist, right? I think everybody would say, well, actually, you know, Nazi Germany doesn't have a right to exist, right? Because it did what it did, and I think that's true for any such a state. And by the way, just so like you're aware, it's like here it's like it takes a bit to ramp up and people to show up and stuff. So
Okay.
it is
No
what
problem.
it is.
Yeah. Should I? Do you want me to open up the phones while we wait, or
It's
up to
fine.
you?
Yeah, we can also do that. That's not a problem.
Whatever. This is your show. I don't want to take over your show.
Yeah, dude, it's fine. It's like people are gonna show up here. It's like my show doesn't have like street rules, just so you know.
Okay. Tell me how does it work? How do we go about this? I guess.
I mean, it's fine because it's you know, if you have a call, it's fine. You can talk, and we can wait. And
all right, let me open up the phones.
Once people show up,
I'll open
fine.
up the phones.
Yeah. No, but I was just telling you so you know how like things kind of go around around here. It takes a bit.
Y'all heard him, boys. Phone number's open. Phone number is 202-998-5218. If you disagree with my position on this, feel free to call in. I'll hear you out. We'll have a discussion. Let's have the discussion. Let's go. Wow.
Yeah, dude. Did you see the Trump being booed at the
yeah.
That was fucking lovely.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, that was like so crazy.
You know, and
but
like
did you see New Yorker's reaction after the game? I mean, that was like
no, I did
they
not.
were so
No,
pissed at him.
I did not see that. No,
apparently, I mean, I'm not a big like basketball fan or whatever. It's like, you know, that's not my sport. But like almost all New Yorkers were just pissed at Trump for being there and just fucking with the vibes, and they were like literally just telling him, "It's like, yeah, you're why we lost." So
we got a biter. We got he left.
No, we don't. They come and go. They come and go.
Really?
I see them. Yeah. I see when we have a client. Don't worry about it.
Okay, all right.
It's like I'm good at drilling them in.
Okay.
I got the the way.
Let's see. AWOL says, wait, this is a Daniel show? I'm out. Wait, what's wrong with Daniel? Hi to y'all.
Yeah, also like, AWOL, it's like he can come here.
Why do they dog on Daniel? So, bro, he's just giving you trouble. He doesn't actually think that.
Yeah, but as I said, I don't care. I'm not,
he's just getting your goat, if you will.
Yeah. I know. He's doing that, but yeah, it was funny, like seeing New Yorkers' reactions, you know, especially since the New York Knicks lost, and I know like a lot of New Yorkers are like Knicks fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But seeing all the people,
it was funny.
Just boo him so hard.
It was pretty hard.
God, they were pissed.
That was crazy.
And it was like, even as the motorcade was going by, you just heard thousands of people just boo. And honestly, when you really break it down, it's not a good look from like any presidential perspective, because it's like they got to spend several hours like preparing everything, and you know, Secret Service has to like comb everything. It costs millions of dollars just to have Donald Trump show up to the Knicks game. They got to set up the bulletproof glass pane. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's a fucking
I know the
pain
security,
in the ass.
Right? Like besides that, like there's a lot of security that needs to be taken into account. And by the way, Kingsman, I don't know if you're agreeing with the subject of today's show or not. If you don't, no, we can have a conversation. So keep that in mind if you want to have a conversation about it.
No, I agree. I agree that
you agree. Okay, so you're just waiting like us, right? We're waiting for people to disagree.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's. I mean, like,
I don't know who's gonna come in and really think that.
Well, I did
Anti-
have today some sort of conversation like this, so we'll see. We'll see. Maybe some people will disagree with this, but if they don't, we can still have a. We can just chill, relax, have fun,
What
talk
do you
about
guys
Trump
think
and.
about the modern Zionist movement?
I don't see it as being like very much different from the original inception of the Zionist movement, because I do believe that Zionism, by its definition, requires having like a population that's above another population of people. So I think like it had this exclusionary system built in from the start. So I don't see it as being like any different. It's just that in the beginning they didn't really have a place that they kind of like settled on. Like initially it wasn't even Palestine. I think like the first place they got their eyes set on was like Uganda. And we could have literally had whatever is happening right now in Palestine, we could have had it in Uganda. And it would have
I
been
mean,
literally the same thing.
they're only in Israel now, due to the way the West managed the collateral of like the Second World War and the Nazi movement. But like even way before like the Uganda
Sort of.
plan, they tried to move all the Jews to Madagascar. We would have seen that happen there and stuff. But I mean,
Yeah, but
even
that's
in
what I'm
like
saying. It's like it didn't even matter what the place was at the end of the day, right?
yeah,
So because the reason they didn't think about Palestine was because initially this movement was just like a fully like secular movement. They weren't like using any type like of like religious stuff inside it. But then like the
I mean, it
religion
depends
kind of
when
came in
though.
handy.
It kind of depends when though, because in the like the 1920s and like the early 1900s, we have elements from like Hitler's speeches where he noted that they had an obsession. I don't agree with Hitler, of course, by the way, like don't get me wrong, but how they would have an obsession with the land of Palestine. And the reason I bring that up is because before he began the Madagascar plan and then afterwards the extermination camps, he did think
Ooh, we're
about
getting a phone
sending
call,
them.
Daniel. Should
He did
should I hang up?
No. Are you okay if we pause it a bit, Kingsman, and we just listen to Amanda a bit? You can just like stream the
Sure.
whole thing on
All right, here we
preview
go.
so we can also.
Yeah. You got it. You're on the line, First Amender.
Yeah, I just saw.
Give me
I
one
saw
quick
on YouTube,
second.
but I saw
Give
this live
give me
stream,
one quick
and
second.
I
I
would
gotta.
like to debate.
Yeah. Just
Zionism
give me
and
one quick
anti-Semitism.
second. Hang tight, okay? I need to stream something real quick. Sorry, I appreciate your patience.
Yeah, so just like
All good.
everybody here, you can.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
just
if you
press
click
the
my
watch stream so we can hear the phone call.
yeah, you will
Perfect,
not be
perfect.
able to hear the phone call unless if you guys hit the live. So just hit that live. All right. Anyway, what is that? I hear myself multiple times. All right. Go ahead. Can I get your name?
Yeah, my name is Noah.
Hey Noah, what would you like to talk about?
I think that while anti-Zionism can be framed in a non-anti-Semitic way, I think it's largely sourced from anti-Semitism in the modern political climate. Sort of my premise.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in agreement with you. I think like just because you're against like the ethno state of Israel does not mean that you're against Jewish people. Does that make sense? It's just saying, Jewish people have a right to exist, and also so do Palestinians.
No, yeah, fair, but I'm trying to go further than that. I'm trying to take the opposite side, which is I would say that I think specifically singling out like an ethno-like state against the Jews specifically, unless you across the board believe that to be true. Like, for example, a counterexample I would say is like Japan is effectively an ethno-state for the Japanese.
Yeah, I don't agree with the Japanese ethno-state either, so I don't like any ethno-state.
Okay, so then under that, if you are specifically pointing out that I'm an anti-Zionist, not calling for like, anti-German ethno-state or anti-Japanese ethno-state. I think that could come from two things. One, just there's a focus on Zionism nowadays, obviously, because it's like the hottest topic in the news. So I think that's a legitimate way to be anti-Zionist without saying the others. But if you're otherwise specifying that, I think that's probably coming from anti-Semitism.
I agree. I think we're in perfect agreement here. You've not said anything that I disagree with.
Okay.
I appreciate your call, Noah.
Thank you.
You have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Well, you sounded reasonable.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, it's like, I mean, he was right in like one aspect, which is the fact that, you can be both at the same time, right? It's like you can be anti-Zionist and also be an anti-Semite, right? So, for example, I can give you an example, like for like Candace Owens, she's an anti-Zionist. She's also anti-Semitic. Okay, so we need to understand those things too. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, like recently she's been anti-Zionist. She's also a pretty big anti-Semite, right? Let's not forget like the Jewish space lasers from her, right? So you can definitely be both, right? But the thing is, it's like you cannot say that just because you're anti-Zionist, you're anti-Semitic, and that's the thing that we need to kind of like keep in mind, right? Like, because that would mean, if you're gonna say that, there's gonna be a lot of Jewish people, that you will have to say, well, they're anti-Semites because they're anti-Zionist, right? Like Bernie Sanders, you would have to say that Bernie Sanders is, anti-Semitic. You would have to say that, I don't know, like Avi Schleim, he's anti-Semitic, right? And so on, right? It's like you're gonna find like a lot of Jewish people that you will have to say, well, they're anti-Semitic just because they're anti-Zionist. And I think that's pretty weird, right? To say the least. So yeah, just don't go there. But he was right. There's a lot of, especially in the right wing sphere, there's a lot of right wingers right now that are kind of like disguising their anti-Semitism behind anti-Zionism, right? So they're using the anti-Zionism as kind of like a shield to kind of do anti-Semitic stuff, right? So we need to be like really, really careful about those types of people, which are like pretty crappy, I would say. Hello, Socrates. Do you agree with today's thingy, Socrates, or do you disagree? Tell me. Oh my God, the guy's smoking again. God damn it. But yeah, let's see. Hey, Kim. What's up? Do you want to talk about the topic of tonight? Just so you know, like Amanda, as far as I know, Kim is a Zionist.
Ooh.
So maybe he will want to have a conversation about it. Let's see.
Juche and ethno-state enjoyer, ticking all the boxes.
Well, sometimes people will tick all the boxes.
You see, like the Juche
like
ideology, it blows my mind.
The what? Sorry.
Juche.
What is that, Juche?
It's the ideology of North Korea.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know that much about North Korea.
Yeah. Oh man, I went down like a giant rabbit hole with like North Korea. I find it politically fascinating. It is just one of the most fascinating. Yeah, it is. It's like wild. It is like if you could imagine, it's like a petri dish of just authoritarianism. It's like a bizarre form of authoritarianism that has never really been reached anywhere else. So like just from like a academic sense, it's politically fascinating. Also, it's a freaking nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Well,
it's awful. But it is, in fact, it is a rarity in the sense that you just don't see it anywhere, right? I mean, they've got their own intranet for goodness sakes. They can't even use a VPN.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, they have control over like the whole thing. I was actually pretty surprised because I remember like seeing like I feel like last year or 2 years ago, I was I don't know, I was just like browsing on YouTube and stuff, and I came across like this video talking about like the games, the mobile games in North Korea, and I was like, my first thought was like, wait a second, they have mobile phones
Yeah, they do.
in North
Yeah.
Korea.
Yeah.
I was like, my
Yeah.
mind was just like so blown that they even have mobile phones in North Korea. And apparently they have like this, how you have like Google Play Store or like whatever Apple has, Apple Store or something. And they have like their own thing, right? Where what they did, they actually took like most of the popular games from the West and they just remade them, right, for North Korea only, with like a shit ton of like trackers and spyware and all that crap. And they're just playing that, right, whenever they're playing on their mobile phones. But it was interesting. It was really, really interesting.
Well, I guess Kim is
My God,
not
what is
interested in
this?
having a conversation, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, today we had kind of a conversation about this. So also like it kind of like settled me onto this subject. Besides the things that I've told you in the beginning. So let's see. Maybe he will want to have like a conversation, so we can have a conversation about it.
Right here, and this is just reading off of Britannica for Juche, just for fun, saying that Juche, the state ideology of North Korea, is an official ideology of the Workers' Party of Korea. Typically translated as self-reliance, Juche was developed by the founder of the North Korean state and its eternal president, Kim Il-sung.
Yeah, Kim Il-sung.
And expounded upon by his son, Kim Jong-il, originally derived from Marxism, Leninism, Maoism, and Korea's ancient political culture of resolute independence. Juche has increasingly come to be defined by its role in reinforcing the personality cult that upholds the Kim dynasty, and it's instrumental in legitimizing the dynasty's rule. Bro, it's wild.
I mean, it is crazy.
It's absolutely wild.
Like one of the funniest things about North Korea that actually a lot of people don't know. They don't know that Kim Il-sung is actually still the president of North Korea. I mean, the guy's been dead for like decades, but he's still the president. This is the first necrocracy in the history of humanity.
A necrocracy it's just like, is wild.
Literally, there's like the guy that's been dead for like. That. But it is, right? I mean, that's what it is. I mean, the guy is literally still their president. It's not. It wasn't Kim Jong-il. It's not Kim Jong-un. So whatever the fuck his name is, right? It's just like his grandfather that's dead. And it's not like they have this thing where like he's resurrected or something, right? They know he's dead.
There is the Kim dynasty, and then there is their pal, Dennis Rodman.
Yes. I never understood that. Did you really understand that?
He just liked Kim Jong-un likes basketball a lot and was like, oh, I like Dennis Rodman. And Dennis Rodman was like, sure, I'll take a trip.
Yeah, but how? It's like you're looking at those two people. They're kind of like they seem to be the most incompatible human beings on the planet. Right? If you're looking at like Dennis Rodman and Kim Jong-un, it's like I don't know how they got to be so good friends. I think he just liked baseball
or basketball.
Yeah, but it's still weird, man. It's still weird.
It is weird. It is.
They're just
very strange.
They're just weird together.
Yeah.
There's some thin lanes of conversation in that relationship.
Hey,
I mean, imagine if they're lovers or something. That would be even weirder, right? I'm just saying.
Oh, don't even get me started on the Trump love letters, bro. Don't even get me started. Have you read those?
The love letters? No, I don't think.
You don't know about the Trump love letters?
I know about Baba. I don't know if you know about Baba.
Okay,
but that's about it. I don't know about the love letters.
Yeah,
who did they send them to?
It's between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
you could look up
damn
these
it.
love letters. They're real.
I think I heard about them
They
like a
just
while
sound
ago.
really
Yeah.
weird when you read them out loud.
Well, I mean, it is Trump. I mean, and if they're literally taking dictation from Trump, it has to sound really weird because it's just Trump, and
It's
like
not
Trump
even like a
is
dictation from Trump. Like the way that they read is just strange.
it's like
It's just
love you, honey
very
bun.
it's really flowery. It's like really flowery. Here, let me see if I can pull up one of the love letters. Give me a second. I'm just gonna pull it up real quick.
I mean, he does have that shit, right? Where he's
Yeah.
kind of like he really likes this like
All right, do you see it on my
dictators
screen?
around the world. Yeah.
Okay.
Me.
This is the White House, Washington, May 24th of 2018. His Excellency Kim Jong-un, Chairman of State Affairs Commission of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea in Pyongyang. Dear Mr. Chairman, we greatly appreciate your time, patience, and effort with respect to our recent negotiations and discussions relative to a summit long sought by both parties, which is scheduled to take place on the June 12th in Singapore. We were informed that the meeting was requested by North Korea, but that to us is totally irrelevant. I was very much looking forward to being there with you. Sadly, based on the tremendous anger and open hostility displayed in your most recent statement, I feel it is inappropriate at this time to have a long-planned meeting. Therefore, please let this letter serve to represent that the Singapore summit for the good of both parties, but to the detriment of the world, will not take place. You will talk about your nuclear capabilities, but ours are so massive and powerful that I pray to God that they will never have to be used. I felt a wonderful dialogue that was building up between you and me, and ultimately it is only the dialogue that matters. Someday, I look very much forward to meeting you. In the meantime, I want to thank you for your release of the hostages, and we are now home with their families. That was a beautiful gesture and very much appreciated. If you want to change your mind to do with this most important summit, please do not hesitate or call me to write. The world, and North Korea in particular, has lost a great opportunity for lasting peace and great prosperity and wealth. This is a missed opportunity. And actually, this one is not as love lettery as the other ones.
I mean, I kind of read it in Trump's voice, and it
What
was
sort
a
of-
bit more like sexual.
Didn't he? Hadn't
Especially
he
the
just
end.
returned Otto Warren Beer at that point?
What?
Hadn't they just returned Autumn? Like he already said, thank you for releasing the
Hostages, yeah.
hostages. Yeah, like just before they returned the Otto Warren Beer to his family, like the most horrendous thing before he died.
Let me see if I can find the love letter one, because it's really funny. It's really funny. Hold on a sec.
So wait a second. Did Kim Jong Un kind of like reciprocate or something? It's like
Yes.
what happened? Oh God. How was Dennis Rodman feeling when he read that?
Hold on a sec.
Was he sad? Was he jealous?
I gotta find the one where they are like describing holding hands. They're so weird. They're so weird.
Are they holding hands? Wait a second.
They're talking. Yeah, they
Why
like write about it. It's really
my
weird.
God. Why were they holding hands though? I mean, I'm kind of imagining like Trump and Kim Jong Un holding hands. It's like very weird to see that.
That sounds like an video.
I mean, dude, it's like that is the kind of image you want to have in your head when you don't want to come like really fast. You know, if you want to hold, longer, you just think about that, and that's it.
Okay. I gotta find it. Damn it. Now it's got me all riled up. I'm gonna find it. Just give me a second. I will have it.
Yeah. The love letters. We need to see the love letters. I love you, Mr. Trump.
I love you.
Do you remember when we were walking down the beach, holding hands? under the moonlight,
I gotta find it.
and you
damn it.
whispered in my ear,
Why can
"You
I
want to see
find?
my nuclear weapons?" So
Why
big,
can't
so
I?
big."
Why can't I find it?
They did the CIA interview.
They got
and
rid of
just
them.
scrubbed it off the internet. Yes.
Hold on. Yes, I think I found it.
Amaze me.
Okay. All right. So this is a letter from Kim Jong-un to the president. Your Excellency, Mr. President, I express my deep appreciation to Your Excellency for having a firm faith in the excellent relations established between us during the first summit and exerting yourself to honor the promise that has been made in that historic day. I feel pleased to have formed good ties with such a powerful and preeminent statement as Your Excellency, though there is a sense of regret for the lack of anticipated declaration on the termination of war. I am convinced that the declaration of the determination of war would surely see the light of day at an early date as a world historic event that encourages the development of relations between the two countries and promotes global peace and security. The first step to improving the DPRK-US relations was taken in a meaningful way at the Singapore summit, and at the next meeting will come to a beautiful fruition, bringing even greater delight and satisfaction to both countries of the DPRK and the U.S. I have unwavering confidence that our next meeting with Your Excellency would produce a more significant outcome, and I will make our continued efforts and preparations to deliver that outcome without fail. I wish Your Excellency good health and bigger success in the fulfillment of your official duties. I also extend my heartfelt and warmest greetings to your First Lady and the family members of Your Excellency, Kim Jong-un. I'm just imagining.
I was
like,
expecting a bit more. I was
really?
expecting a bit more,
Okay,
like
all right.
a bit more salacious. It's like tongue in ear and stuff like that. I'm just saying, okay, just saying. It's like
All right.
could be better.
Um,
You want like a what the butler situation?
here we go.
Well,
Your
I mean,
Excellency. Your Excellency, Mr. President, the significant first meeting with Your Excellency at the joint statement were signed together in Singapore 24 days ago was indeed the start of a meaningful journey. I just want you guys to imagine just like, I don't know, the anime leaves like falling.
Yeah. I like the second paragraph.
With
I
the
mean,
flowers.
it's starting really well.
I deeply appreciate the energetic and extraordinary efforts made by Your Excellency, Mr. President, for the improvement in relations between the two countries of the faithful implementation of the joint statement. Where's the Mao music? Mao music. Mao. We need the Mao music. Where is it? Okay, here we go. I firmly believe that the strong will, sincere efforts, and unique approach of myself and Your Excellency, Mr. President, aimed at opening up a new future between DPRK and the U.S. will surely come to fruition. Wishing that the invariable trust and confidence of Your Excellency, Mr. President, will be further strengthened in the future process of taking practical actions, I extend my conviction that the epochal progress of promoting the DPRK-U.S. relations will bring our next meeting forward.
I did with trust with an H, okay? Just saying. That's how I read it.
What do you think?
I did read it with an H. The trust, okay? Just if you read like the trust, it's like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, hello. How you guys doing?
Hello.
Oh, we're good. We're waiting for people to come and talk with us about the prompt.
Type shit.
Do you agree with the prompt? Do you not agree with the prompt? What's your stance?
What's Zionism again?
Well, Zionism is an exclusionary ideology that says that there's a group of people that have to establish an ethno-state where they have to be a majority. And, that group of people happens to be Jewish.
Oh, yes, you're just asking me if I support or dissupport Israel.
Well, it's
not necessarily about supporting another Israel. But yeah.
Isn't it? It would be specifically like it's a nationalist ideology that is there specifically to establish the homeland of Israel in the historic region of Palestine?
I don't support them personally.
Okay.
What about you guys? What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't believe it should
I
exist.
would support an Israel that is democratic and would not exclude like a lot of people from their country. You know, just in the same way that I don't support like Germany that's only for the Germans, or like any country that's only for like one specific ethnic group.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Wait, what?
like democracy.
Wait, so like non-Jewish or like goyim then not allowed to go into Israel or what?
No, the fact is they're second-class citizens. Like for
Oh,
example,
so
I
they
don't
have
know if
like
you know
class
this.
to it. Oh shit.
Well, sort
didn't
of.
even know
It's
that.
kind of like in their laws. Like so for example, like Israel, you know, they don't have a constitution, right? It's like that's one of their things. They don't have a constitution. So because they don't have a constitution, they passed you know, a group of laws that it's called the basic laws. And inside the basic law in Israel, it says that only Jewish people have the right to self-determination in Israel, right? So literally that law, it just literally cites a specific ethnic group that is the only group that has the right to self-determination in the country of Israel. So I think that is by definition, you know, bad and wrong, and we should actually fight
isn't this
against it, because you wouldn't see it, you wouldn't like it from any other country, right? So why would we
No, not at
want
all.
it from Israel, you know?
I mean, isn't that because like in the Torah they're like seen like Jews are seen
Oh
as
my
like the
goodness,
highest
you
form of
just
humans that
subscribed.
exists, or
Wow.
that type of stuff?
Well, I
Like
mean, they
most
do have
valuable?
like a lot of justifications, and you're absolutely correct about that. I mean, usually, like initially, the Zionist movement was a purely secular movement. Today, it's no longer the case. It hasn't been the case for like a very very long time, almost since the beginning. It wasn't the case. It's mostly like a religious movement, and you know, funnily enough, a majority of Zionists are not even Jewish. Like Christian Zionism is way bigger than Jewish Zionism, but for different reasons, right? Because like the Christian Zionists, they look at a specific interpretation of the Bible where they want all the Jews to go back to Israel,
Oh my
and
goodness,
when
you
every
just
Jew is going to
subscribed.
be back in
Wow.
Israel, you know, that's when the apocalypse is going to come, right? The end of times, and most of the Jews will just be killed by God, and He's only going to keep like 100,000 of them or something like that. And yeah, it's the second coming of Jesus.
Golly.
Yeah, you should look it up if you never looked up like Christian Zionism. That's why they wholeheartedly support the
I
country
think
of
I've seen
Israel,
it before in
regardless of
some
anything.
like some documentary or something. I saw this like documentary in college about some. It was like a pro-Israel like motorcycle club in America, and they went over to Israel. They were preaching all this shit, and it was a lot.
Yeah, no, it's
And they were
a
Christian.
really
That
really
was
big
like their main
movement.
thing.
Yeah. So, what, did you say you had a question or?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just misheard you. But yes, and that's why, you know, like you know, I could even go further, and I could equate Zionism
Did I just get a
to
membership?
fascism and
Wow.
even Nazism, because
Oh.
I don't think it's that much different, right? I mean, they're literally doing genocide. They're still doing it. You know, it hasn't really stopped, the genocide in Gaza. It's an apartheid state. So yeah, ethno state, like however you want to call it. They're really not that much different from what the Nazis were doing, unfortunately.
I mean, they're just projecting what happened to them, though.
Well, sort of. I mean, it is a colonial project, right? It's like the way we have to interpret Israel is by looking at it through like a colonial project. It's a European colonial project, right? Because it did start uh, with England, with like Great Britain, as like a lot of bad things in the world do. They were the ones that had the mandate of Palestine, and the Balfour Declaration is one of the very important times in history, to have the Zionist project completed. So yeah, it's very important. Like European involvement in the whole shebang is really big. And we can't really overlook it, because that's what it is. And most of the people that went in Israel, they were not natives to Palestine. They were just like European Jews, right? That have been in Europe for like countless generations. And like, for example, one of the things that was happening in Israel, because at the inception of the state, they had a lot of influx of Jews from like other countries in the Middle East. And those Jews were not like white Jews, they were black and brown Jews. And they were even like what was happening back then, there was a lot of bad things that the Israeli state was doing to these black and brown Jews, like sterilization, for example, with like Ethiopian Jews and so on. And that's also not good, right? And it's like we need to understand it, right? Those things were happening because most of the people that created the state of Israel were just Europeans, and they did exactly what Europeans were doing, like in other countries, like the eugenics movement was a European movement at the end of the day, and they were just doing those things, but in Israel. And we didn't really see them as being something European because it's just Jews in another place, it's not actually Europeans, but in reality it was just Europeans. That's it. So like the whole history of it is like it's pretty long, and there's a lot to read, right, to kind of like understand all like the historical context. But there's a lot of good sources from Jewish writers that wrote about these things, and they're anti-Zionists. So as I was telling Amanda earlier, if you're going to say that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, then you would have to say that a lot of Jews are anti-Semites because they're anti-Zionist.
Guess so.
But it's it's an interesting story, right, to read about and get informed. And it's good to have a conversation about it, always, I think.
Yeah, good to hear what other people have to say about it too.
So, get this.
And,
Did you know?
Yeah.
Did you know that there are politicians right now who are in power that believe that the only way you can bring upon the second coming of Jesus Christ is that there needs to be an ultimate war of the chosen people and Islamic people, a war between Gog and Magog that will ultimately bring upon the second coming of Jesus Christ, as said in Revelations.
Yeah, I mean, you have U.S. senators like Lindsey Graham, for example, who literally said that their only goal in Congress is to advocate for Israel, which is crazy. I mean, you wouldn't imagine having like any U.S. senator, right, saying, my only goal in the Senate is to advocate for North Korea, right? Imagine you have that. Imagine if you'd have like a senator that just says, oh, that's the only reason I'm here is to advocate for North Korea or China or Russia or like you name it, right? It doesn't even matter what it is, like any other country.
Yeah. Well,
right?
Some of the people that legitimately believe that have power is you have Mike Huckabee, who's isn't he like the Israeli ambassador or whatever the hell that they decided to name him? Mike Huckabee.
Yeah,
You've got Michelle Bachmann also believes that. Sarah Palin believes that. Tim Walberg and Doug Lamborn, all of them believe this. They believe they have to create accelerationism and create the war in order to bring upon the second coming of Jesus Christ. It is completely insane. These are grown adults.
I know, bro.
Yeah, but it's religion at the end of the day, right? It kind of fucks with your mind.
But do you
I just feel
understand?
like-
It's like you're causing, like, what was that instance of like the you know, that school that was just bombed and there was just like 150 dead kids and like nobody gave a
70.
crap.
170 girls. Yeah,
Nobody
that were
gave a
killed
crap.
yeah.
I don't understand why, like, why is nobody in jail for that?
Yeah, because they're brown. And you
Okay.
don't care.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Okay.
It's the
That
only
All right,
reason.
bro.
time by that businessman
All right,
was like
bro.
better dead than in a
Because
burger.
no, but I'm really serious about it. Like imagine if that thing happened in Israel. Imagine if that thing happened in the United States, right? Imagine if you go at war, you go to war with Iran, which it's happening right now, and Iran just manages to lob a bomb and just hits a school that is next to an army base, right? And they're just gonna say, well, I mean, no, things happen in war, right? Because that's what they're saying right now. Like every U.S. politician that is like pro-Zionist, they're gonna say, well, I mean, these things happen in war, right? It's like it's just war, it happens, right? I'm wondering how many of those politicians would just take like the bombing of like a U.S. school where like 100 kids die and just say, well, you know, it happens, it's war. Like none of them would, right? All of them would condemn it as an atrocity, as a war crime, as a genocide, like you name it, right? They would call it out in every way, shape, and form, right? But when it's an Iranian school with Iranian girls, which are brown, by the way, you know, it happens, they don't care. It's like, oops, how bad.
It's because
Go
I feel
next.
it's because America is just like the right hand of Israel at this point. Because like, if you think about it, right, what other reason except for Israeli interest does America need to bomb Iran and attack all of Iran for? Like, what else do they gain off of it?
Well, let's be very, very, very clear here. I don't think it's only Israeli interests, right? America has like a shit ton of interests in this war. I think Trump himself has like a lot of interests in this war. Just keep in
Materials?
mind, like his dumb kids, right? They just invested in like a big drone company from Israel that went public, and they're doing like a lot of money with this thing. So you know, the US has like a lot of interests in there too. Okay. And especially Trump. I mean, Trump is extremely, extremely corrupt, right? And it's like he's I can guarantee you he's making a lot of money, because if you're looking at like you know, all the schemes that he's been doing ever since the start of the war in Iran, you're going to see like the pattern, right? Where like you know, whenever the what's it called, like the stock trading is closing on Friday, he just says like this thing that kind of like makes people like feel good. Oh, it's ending, and the you know the stock market just ends on a high note, right? And then on
No.
Monday he just say, actually, you know, it's not working, right? And boom, it goes down again, right? And that's where they're buying, right? They're buying on Monday, they're selling on Friday, right? They're buying on Monday, selling on Friday, and so on, right? And he's making a lot of money. I mean, a lot of people don't know, but 2/3 of Trump's net worth happened in this term as president, right? He made
Jeez, I didn't
2/3
even know
of
that.
his it's like it's around $4 billion, right? He made
Fuck, you
almost
know.
4 billion, like around $4 billion in like not even 2 years of being president in the second term, which is crazy. And the other 2 billion, he made them in the first term, almost all of them, right? So it's like again, it's like he doesn't care, right? Because he doesn't care
No,
about you. He doesn't care about the people of the country. Like the
Yeah,
only thing that
I don't
Trump
feel like
cares
he
is
gives
just
a
Trump.
shit. I don't feel like he gives a shit about America that much anymore, because like even all these fucking, what are they called? Those what's that shit called when it costs much more money to like import things to America? What's that shit called again?
Tariffs. Yes.
Yeah,
Tariffs.
tariffs. Yeah, he was putting fucking like what 200% tariffs on France and every other country basically.
Yeah, but I mean, okay. So think about this,
But
right?
yeah,
You
but then
have a lot of
reducing it by
right-wingers.
half the next day. It's not just the fact that he
Yeah,
was
well,
putting these
obviously,
massive
it's
tariffs on. It was the
because
fact that this guy literally the wind blows different directions every day. It's impossible
no,
to
but
tell.
I don't think
It's-
it did that. I think it did all those things with purposes. I think there's other people around him that are like kind of like doing these things, right? They're literally manipulating the stock market by like Taco Trump is not just like a meme, right? He literally made money by being Taco Trump. But just think about this, right? Because a lot of right wingers are going to tell you, well, actually, a lot of these other countries, they were kind of like being unfair with the United States, and they were just like having all these things, right? And the tariffs, they're just like getting people in line. You know what the funniest thing is? Canada didn't have like tariffs on the United States. There were 0% tariffs, and despite that, Trump introduced tariffs against Canada. How the hell does that work? Right? It's like literally, it's like you had no tariffs and then you just introduced tariffs. Why? For what reason? What is the reason for you to do that? Right? Unless you
Make
had
money off
ulterior
of it
motives,
somehow.
or you're just like dumb, right? And you don't know how
Tariffs.
these things work.
Yeah.
So check this out, right? I found this article here. And if you click my live, you should be able to see it. It says, what is Christian Zionism? The pro-Israel ideology invoked by U.S. Ambassador. Mike Huckabee's suggestion that Israel has God-given right to much of the Middle East is rooted in Christian Zionist theology, experts say. The United States ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, has faced condemnation from Arab and Muslim countries after suggesting that Israel has a biblical right to much of the Middle East. In an interview with prominent right-wing American commentator Tucker Carlson, Huckabee suggested that Israel has a God-given right to land stretching from the Euphrates River to the Nile, which would encompass Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and parts of Saudi Arabia. It would be fine if they took it all, he said, arguing that the geographical borders of Israel are rooted in the Bible, a belief shared by Christian Zionists. So how did it begin? In 1878, William Blackstone, a student of the prominent American evangelist Dwight Moody and a believer of the biblical restoration of Israel, published a book titled Jesus is Coming. The best-selling work popularized among Americans in belief held by some Christian leaders that God had given the land of Israel to the Jewish people. This conviction, often taken from Protestant evangelical perspective, draws on the ancient biblical idea that nearly 4 millennia ago, God promised the land to the Jews and would rule it until the return of Jesus to Jerusalem for the rapture. According to this theology, Christians will be saved upon Christ's return, while non-Christians who do not convert will face damnation. Bro, it's wild to me. How could there be grown-ass adults that think this?
Well, I mean, because it's funny. I did watch the part of the interview that Tucker Carlson had with Mike Huckabee, and let's be very clear. Like Tucker Carlson is also like extremely religious, right? Like he's a super religious guy, like evangelical. He's just like he's like very pro-America, and that's why he doesn't really like. And also like he's probably also like an anti-Semite, okay? Because he's a bit like a white supremacist and stuff. And the funny thing is like during that interview, Tucker Carlson actually touched on this and actually literally asked him, "Oh, so do you think like the Greater Israel project it should happen?" And like Mike Huckabee, the ambassador to Israel, the American ambassador, said yes. Right? Because just keep in mind, like the Greater Israel project is something that would mean that you're taking sovereignty from other countries in the Middle East, right? And you as the ambassador, right? You're just saying, yeah, they should be doing that. That's fine. That's fine with us, right? Because everything he says, that's the position of the United States, because that's how you have to take it, right? It's not just like his personal opinion. There's no such thing when it comes to a freaking ambassador, right? You don't have like your personal opinion about these things. And it's crazy that people just like don't look at that as being something that's extremely weird. And it's like, what is like, our ambassador said that? There's no scandal about it. There was literally zero scandal. Like, nobody batted an eye. Like, this guy just thinks like, yeah, I mean, Israel should take parts of Lebanon, should take parts of Iraq, should take parts of Iran, should take parts of Egypt, and so on. That's fine with us as Americans. And I really wonder, it's like, how many Americans actually agree with this? Well,
Probably
like
a lot
on
of the
my-
ones
oh,
that
oh
just
my-
blindly listen to the government.
Just a second, I need to read the chat on my on my YouTube. Unviolence said wrong. God promised it to the descendants of Abraham. Well, it wasn't really the descendants of Abraham. They happened to be the descendants of Abraham.
It's pretty clear in the
Um,
Bible that
yeah.
it's referring to the Jews.
Yeah, it's applied
It's very clear.
to the branch of Judah, right? Like which become the Jews, right? Like Abraham he was an Israelite, he wasn't a Jew, right? Like the Jews are like the descendants of Judah, who happen to also be like the descendant of Abraham, but not the only one. Like all the others were not promised that land. So that's how it kind of like went. But again, it's like, why should we do these things like according to like a religious text, like at all? It's like, to me, it's just like the weirdest thing. It's like, who cares? I don't care if it says that in the Bible. I don't care if it says that in the Quran or any other religious text. I don't care. It's like, that's not how we do like decisions, of geopolitics, because that's the surest way to get to a conflict that will never end and will just kill like millions of people. Right? I mean, it's already killing like a lot of people as we speak, right? It's responsible for genocide in Gaza. It's responsible for like continuous violence in the West Bank and the murder of like thousands and thousands of people. It's responsible for this war in Iran right now. It was partly responsible for the war in Iraq, by the way. It is responsible for what's happening in Lebanon right now. And so on. So it's like, why should we do that? I mean, I just find it like really, really, really crazy.
I feel that's
we're just
why the
taking these
Middle.
things like,
I feel that's why the Middle East is a wasp nest for wars, because of religious reasons constantly.
can you repeat? Sorry,
I said I feel like the
reading,
Middle East is a wasp nest because of the religious reasons. That's why it's like there's always going to be a war at some point.
well, I don't necessarily believe that. I think, because you could say that about a lot of parts of the world, right? So, for example, if you go to Eastern Europe, if you go to the Balkans, there's always going to be fighting in the Balkans. It has nothing to do with like religious reasons, and I think it's very easy, especially for us in the West, let's say, to kind of like confuse things, right? And look at some like political disputes that happen in the Middle East and just say, oh, actually they're like religious disputes. No, I don't think it is. It's like, I don't think, for example, what's it called, Saudi Arabia has like religious reasons to do stuff. No, they have like a lot of political reasons to do stuff, right? And they're going to do stuff because it suits them, and that's it. So, but it's easy, right? It's like, yeah, we kind of been taught that's the case, and like these people that they're just like religious nuts, all of them, and usually it's very easy for us in the West to kind of blame Muslims for that for some reason, which is not necessarily like a good thing, But man, it's like this topic is not this successful. I didn't
I'm surprised.
expect it, Commander.
Well, we're not going to get
Yeah, 'cause,
anybody.
like,
I even show up here
All the
thinking, hey, this is good. We're going to get some challengers,
It's like last Tuesday we talked about billionaires. We had like a lot of people, and we even talked about like billionaires. Like,
I'm half tempted with everything just recording to go into LGBT debate and just expose these fucking horrible human beings. There ain't no goddamn way they're not breaking TOS in there, but I'm not gonna do that. I'll be good. I'll behave.
wait, who, what?
Nice. Just scrolling up the
Wait,
chat.
what about I see the LGBT one. What were you
The-
like thinking of doing?
Hmm?
Well,
Oh,
I mean, it
well.
depends who's the owner, right? Because it's like depending on the owner, yeah, you're going to
Well, you can't
you're
record.
going to
You can't
have or not
record.
have.
You can't record. You
No.
know,
Okay.
that's the big
Well, are
thing.
they like hyper pro LGBT here? in
Hell
there, or
no,
what?
they're not pro LGBT in there. I'm
No, not at
pro
all.
LGBT. I'm super pro LGBT. It's wild.
I mean, usually this show was mainly like kind of like religion, and the topic usually was religion on this show. And I remember like some while ago, I had my usual co-host who is like Krishan, and he said, "Well, what do you think if we make like a political stuff?" It's okay. And he was the one to come up with it. He says like, yeah, just talk about like trans women are women, right? And we just had that the topic. Oh my god, this VC was just like full of people. And
Do you want
a
to
lot
switch
of
it?
them were just like,
It sounds like we're not
no,
getting a
they're
lot of
not.
bites. We could switch it.
I mean, I can.
You
Yeah.
want to do that?
Probably let me finish. I have a fight here in my game. And oh, by the way, Amanda, do you remember when I was telling you about Gothic 1?
Who? Gothic 1? Yeah, apparently
Gothic.
there's a remake.
Yeah.
I saw it. I was like, wait a
Yeah,
minute.
the remake is out.
Wait a
The
minute.
remake
Daniel is going to tell me about this. Is it good?
I haven't played it yet. I
I heard
just saw
mixed
today.
responses. Ooh, sorry. I heard mixed responses.
Again, it's like it depends. Yeah, because it's like Unreal Engine and all that. So it's probably going to look like a lot better. It does look a lot better. I saw some gameplay from it. So it does look like a lot better than the original one.
Mhm.
The only thing that I'm really curious to see is like how much they kept like the mechanics of the original game and so on, because those were like pretty big in the game, right? They had like a really big part when it comes to playing the game. So I'll see, and it depends like all the story, if they made it the same, because I remember watching, because I really like Gothic, right? And like some years ago when I was looking at the news about the remake and stuff, they had some weird changes to the game, but I'm definitely gonna play it. But anyway, I just killed my boss. Okay, let's do this. Okay, I'm going to change the name.
You're going to change the name?
Let's see.
What are you changing the name to?
Let's see. What do you think?
I don't know.
Give me ideas.
I don't know.
Do we do like trans women are women? Do we?
You want to do
trigger
trans
people?
women or women?
Let's see. Yeah, let's do that.
All right, let me change the title.
Trans women are women.
Where's the trans
Change
flag
our
emoji?
minds. Yeah, let's see if we trigger some people with that. There might be. Who knows? Hello. How are you, Stavia?
Good. How are you?
We're good. We're just here, talking about the topic of today. What do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about anything, or?
I mean, I
Do you
don't
agree with
believe
the topic?
women are women.
Sorry, can you repeat? I didn't hear you properly.
I don't think trans women are women.
Why are trans
don't you
women not
think
women?
that? That's so weird.
Why do you think that's weird?
I don't know. Do you think blonde women are women?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Do you think adoptive mothers are mothers?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why wouldn't trans women be also women? It's like what?
What makes
is the
them a mother,
problem
though?
if you're
What
going
makes-
to? So what makes a mother? Well, definitely not birthing a child, right?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So if the biological aspect is taken out, right? Because that's the biological aspect, right? The biological aspect is the birth, right? Like everything else is not about a biological aspect. It's about behaviors, right?
Right. And
So it's
behaviorally,
kind of the same. Yeah, but it's kind of the same with
only
trans
females
women,
can
right?
have babies, right?
So if a woman
Well,
cannot have
some
a
women
baby,
can have
then are
babies.
they not female?
I didn't say that. I said biologically, women are the only ones to have babies.
I'm saying
right?
like your criteria that you provide is only women have babies. Okay. But I'm asking you, are there women that cannot have
I said
babies?
females have babies.
Okay. You don't think males can have babies?
Not at all.
Not at all? What about trans men? They can have babies.
No.
They can't have babies? A trans man can't have a baby?
No,
You,
because
you
that's
do
just a
realize they have
woman.
vaginas that work, right? So they can
That's just a
literally have
female.
babies. Who's just a female?
This trans man that you talk about.
So
Just
but
a
you
but
were
again,
saying
it's
that
like-
men can't have babies, but I just gave you an example of a man that can have a baby. This is an example of a
Not a
man that can
man,
have a
though.
baby.
It's not a man though.
It is. Do you understand that
How is it a man?
and women is a basis of a performative nature? Are you aware of that?
Not only though. It's not only to performative nature.
No, it is
But
performative.
do you think there's a
The
difference?
concept
Just a
of
second.
man and
Do you think-
woman is different
Just a
from
second, Amanda, because
male and
I
female.
want to clarify this from her. So do you think there's a difference? There's a distinction between gender and sex.
No.
So you don't
Classic.
think there's a distinction between gender and sex? Yeah. So I mean,
No.
we're gonna be talking past each other, right? If you don't understand, there's like a difference between gender.
What's the
and sex.
difference?
Well, the difference is in gender. Like when you're talking about sex, you're talking about some biological aspects where you are usually going to have like two sexes, but it's even there, like biologically speaking, it's not as clear cut as you might think it is. And when it comes to gender, it's about more than that. It's about like social expectations. It's about like roles that we play in society, that we play in the household. Right? Like, for example, there's been countless examples of like people that had like, they were born with like male genitalia on the inside, right? Like before we had like this way of
But
telling
those are
it,
like
right?
rare
So they had
cases.
well, I mean, you're yeah, but trans people are rare, right? Like trans people are not like half the population, right? Like, of course, we're talking about a very specific part of the population, right? Of course, I'm not saying it's like trans people are like 50% of the population. Obviously, that's not the case. We're talking about
I mean, why though?
one of the
Why
smallest
though?
minority.
Why is it not
the-
50%
one
of
of
the
the smallest-
population if it's
I'm
so
telling
easily
you.
manipulated?
No, but it's not easily
Yeah, because we're
manipulated,
referring
right?
to the
'Cause-
It is,
performative.
though.
We're referring
Because
to the
if I were to
performative
wear-
nature of man and woman. And when I say performative, I'm not referring to like an actor. I'm saying like the daily decisions and roles that you make in order to match your gender is performed. You can change this.
Right. So
And
if I
so
were to
the
go,
biological sex, just so you're aware, never changes. The gender, however, can change.
Like, that's why I was giving you the example of
Why-
like
no.
the adoptive mother, right? Because the adoptive mother, it might be a woman, right? That's
Mhm.
also a female, let's
It
say, that is
will always be a
infertile, right?
woman.
And
A mother will always be a woman.
Wrong.
okay, cool. But again, I was
Wrong.
not talking
In
about
terms
that.
of
I was
gender,
making
you are
distinction
wrong.
between
You
adoptive
acknowledge the
mothers
existence of
and
trans
mothers,
men
like
and that
biological
they can have
mothers.
babies. So a trans man can be a mother. So yes, men can be mothers. And also
No,
you can
they cannot
adopt, you can also adopt and be a mother as well. You don't have to
Well, you'll be a
specifically
mom,
birth
but,
the
like,
mother.
not like a mother.
Birth as a mother. You can adopt.
Yo, first reminder, can you check the side chat, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
What is the definition of woman? Is that really what you wanted to waste my time with? Are you referring to by
No,
sex or gender?
No, I'm asking you your opinion. I'm just curious.
Yeah, is it by sex or gender?
Which one do
There's
you
only-
use more often?
One
I
definition.
use both.
Which one are you using in the title?
So
of
sex
your
is
room?
typically referring to XX chromosomes, 18 years of age, where the fat placement typically shows in secondary sex characteristics, such as the chest and the hips, as opposed to the belly, a more diamond-shaped chin, as well as a receded brow ridge. And typically a vagina. That is what you observe with woman by sex. Gender is in the internal representation of female. Do you understand?
Okay, got you. I mean, sure, that's fine. So by like the second definition, like the title would be right, and like by the first definition, it wouldn't. Okay, that's fine.
What?
Why do you
That's usually
acknowledge?
how it goes, right? And that's why I was making the parallel, right, with like adoptive mothers and biological mothers, because you would call them both mothers. You wouldn't like
I
feel the
wouldn't.
need to
Personally,
actually
I wouldn't.
always call them, oh, you're actually not a real mother, you're like an adoptive mother. Like nobody would say that.
I would
right?
consider that to be
because
deeply
if you would say
offensive, to
that,
be
you would be
honest.
like
It's like a dick
you would be
move.
like a
I mean,
yeah,
that is the truth, though.
exactly.
They are the adopted mother. They are not.
But
Yeah,
they're
but
a
I'm
mother.
telling
But
you,
they're
you
still a
wouldn't say they're
mother.
not a
You just
mothers.
acknowledge
Yeah.
that they're a mother.
So do
Okay,
you
so
think
let
do
me
you
ask
think you
you,
would be
why do you
how do you think
acknowledge?
just a second, Stavia. How do you think you would fare in society if you would go to like a school, right, where your kids are, and like another woman comes, right, and she's like an adoptive mother, and you would tell her, wait, why are you here? Only mothers can be here. You're not a real mother. You're just an adoptive mother. Like, do you think you would fare well if you did that in society? No,
If
I don't think you would,
society,
right?
if that school said, "Hey, you're not the biological mother of this child, therefore I'm not considering you their parent," then that's fine. I would just trade schools.
That's
Correct.
That's just a fucked up thing to say. I don't think normal
Why do
people
you
would
guys
respond.
acknowledge?
I don't think normal
Why do
people
you?
would respond with
There's no such thing as
saying that they're
normal
not a
people, by the
mother.
way.
Yeah, I'm like,
No
what
such
would
thing
be
as normal
typical?
people.
Yeah, there is
Why do you
such thing as something
acknowledge?
that is normal. But just
Why do you
FYI,
acknowledge the
like
word
do
trans?
you think that it would
If you
be?
believe that
Do you?
these
Hey,
trans women,
Stavia, are you okay? Is everything
it's
okay?
Stavia. It's Stavia.
Stavia,
Okay.
just chill a bit.
Well,
Let
you
him
mind
also
not
speak his
interrupting
mind,
me
please.
when I'm trying to explain something to
Well, then
you?
get to your point. You just interrupted me prior.
No, I didn't. But so
You
to
did, 'cause
start,
you were talking to
Stavia,
me.
to start,
It's Stavia.
the issue is, wait, do you have a problem with me calling you by Stavia?
Well, yeah, because that's not the name of it. That's not what it is.
So what you're saying is that do you dislike the fact that I am mispronouncing your pronoun of your name?
It's not a pronoun. It's my
It is a
name. So I
pronoun. That's
dislike the
literally
fact
what a
that you are.
pronoun is.
I'm disliking the fact that you are pronouncing my name. Yes.
Okay. So it's fair to say that we try to respect pronouns, right?
No.
Okay, Stavia.
There's a difference between how it's actually pronounced and how you want it to be pronounced. Correct.
Okay, Stavia.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Was that supposed to be a burn?
going back to it, if we observe when we're referring to trans women, we're referring to women in
There's
terms
trans
of
women,
gender,
not women.
right?
You're talking about trans women.
Yeah,
Just
we're
to
referring
clarify.
to gender, right? Trans women
You're
are
talking about
women,
trans women, though.
right? In the sense
Not
that
women.
gender itself is performative in nature. Do you understand when I'm saying that gender is performative in nature?
Give me an example.
Yeah. So when you get up in the morning, you decide to wear a dress. You decide to walk a specific way. You decide to drink a Cosmopolitan as opposed to
wearing a dress
You
makes someone a
decide
woman.
to have a higher voice. You make these decisions in your daily performance and display yourself that way because that is your identity. People do this all the time.
That day, though.
For
Not all
example,
the
you could
time.
have
That's your identity that
a
day.
woman that decides
Correct.
that they want to
You can
display a
change it
more
daily.
man-like behavior. No, because it requires it's work
No,
to
you just said you can change it
provide
daily.
the performative nature. No, I did not say that. I said that
You said
it's
that
it's
you
a
wake
lot
up
of
and you
work to
choose
perform the
decisions
performative
daily.
nature. There's lots of people that provide this performative nature, and that is actually typically how we determine somebody to be a man or woman in daily in our
not
daily
always.
life. No, like literally every time. Like, first of all, in order for you to let me ask you this: how do you determine somebody to be a woman?
If they have a vagina.
Okay, so to be
you check
clear,
people?
how
Wait
you
a second,
determine
you
how
check
you
people?
determine somebody to be a woman
crazy.
is you approach them, you pull down their pants,
who am
and
I to
observe
determine
whether or not that
anything
they have
about
a
anyone
penis
else?
or a vagina.
Who
Is
am
that what
I
you
to
do?
determine anything
I'm
about anyone
asking,
else?
what do you do?
What do you mean, what do I do? I mind
Hey,
my
Daniel,
business.
ask me the question. What's the question? How do I determine somebody to be a woman? Go ahead and ask
How
me
do
the
you
question.
determine? Amanda, if you go to the grocery store and you see somebody, you're saying, hey, and you say either sir or ma'am. How do you decide that? That's weird because I don't know how to decide it.
I look at
It's
them.
crazy. Oh shit!
So it's not
Really?
performative.
That's
It's just
the
based off
only
No,
looks.
thing
that
that I
is.
do.
It is. It is. When you look at somebody, right, they have
Okay, so
established
if
a
it's just based
performative
off
nature
looks,
of their gender, and they
so if
do
it's
so,
just
they
based
make
off
this
looks,
decision. People make this decision on a daily basis, all the time.
so they can change that decision daily. Then correct?
I mean,
if
I
they
guess it's
if they choose to
possible
make that decision daily, they
somebody
can
in
change that
theory.
decision daily.
Well, it's not really that simple. It's not that
It is
simple.
that simple. You just
No,
said they
because
wake up and
you're
they choose
treating
to
it
put a
as
dress
if
on, and that
you're
makes them a
treating. Please
woman.
shut up. You're treating it as if that it's like an actor and an actress. It's not that. We're referring to performativity. It is completely separate from that of an actor or an actress where they're just putting on a costume. It's not the same. Do you understand?
This
I
is
mean,
not a
no, because a
performance.
dress
If you're
is technically a
kind of
costume,
understanding
correct?
this as being a
Hold on,
performance,
Daniel. He's
Stavia.
talking to me, not you.
Yeah, I know, but it's like I'm also like
Okay, so be
Why is
this
she
is my
respectful.
triggered?
show.
Is she okay?
This is my show. Don't be. It's
I thought
fine.
the
It's like, look, it's like,
SJWs were
I think
supposed
we're
to be
getting a bit
the
too
triggered
antsy
ones.
here. So let's
No, I'm
take
just
the
saying you
temperature
don't
a
want me
bit
to interrupt, then
bit
don't
lower.
interrupt.
No, I'm Stavia. It's like
Okay, so
I
then no,
promise you, it's
just
like
stop. Just stop.
I'm.
He asked me a
No, you
question. He
stop.
was talking to
Don't tell
me.
me. Don't tell me to stop, Stavia. It's like
Oh,
you're
you
not
don't
gonna tell
like
me on
it.
my show. No, on my show you're not gonna tell me to stop. Okay? Just it's not
Okay, well
about
then
like me
mod your
being rude
show.
or
Be
anything.
respectful.
Yeah, but it's like again, it's my
Yeah,
show, and
yeah, yeah, but
I have this thing, and okay,
but
Stavia, you're not gonna do this on my show.
well
You're
then
really
don't
not gonna do
interrupt
this on
me.
my show.
Then don't
No.
interrupt
It's
me.
like I will interrupt you if I feel like the need to interrupt.
Okay, well then
you,
I will
okay? And I'm
interrupt
trying to
you
be
if
as
I feel like it
respectful
as well.
as possible.
It's
Okay,
mutual
I'm going to
respect.
be as respectful as possible, but I want to have the conversation. I want to have the conversation the way that I want to have the conversation.
Okay.
Okay, and I was literally just trying to explain some things. Okay, so Stavia, the thing is like when you're thinking about performative, you're probably thinking of like performance.
Don't tell me what
like
I'm
somebody
probably
just
thinking.
does.
Don't tell me what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
I mean,
Tell me what you want to tell
you can
me.
contradict
Tell
me.
me what you
can
want to tell me.
contradict me
Don't
after
tell me what I'm
that.
thinking.
If I
You
could
can
provide a,
contradict me
I
after
could
that.
provide
Just
a.
let me fucking finish, okay? First. So I don't want to get mad, right? It's like I'm pretty zen, so just chill a bit, okay?
Okay,
I
then
think,
get
as
to
I
your
said, I think
point.
the
Stop.
temperature is a bit too high, okay? Let's take it down a bit.
Well then stop
Not
interrupting
much.
people and let people talk.
Okay, cool. So it's like if you're going to think about like performative as just like being a performance, like somebody being having an act that they're doing, that's a bit wrong. That's not what First Amendment means, right? Like by performative, it means it's like how do you behave, right? Like what are the behavioral patterns that you're gonna have that are in line who you think and who you are, right? It's like as a person, right? It's like you have an internal sense of self, who you are, right? And every act you're going to do is going to be in line with that thing, right? So every time you're going to put on a dress is because you feel like putting on a dress, right? Every
Not
time you're
because I
going to
feel
put
like a
on
woman,
makeup is
but
because
because
you
I feel like
feel
putting
like
on a
doing
dress.
that, right?
Right.
And
Yeah,
so
well-
on,
Because
right?
I
There's
feel
a
like
lot of
doing
acts,
that.
right? It's like I was just giving
So-
some examples of the acts that you could be doing, right? Like everybody does them in their own certain specific way, right? But usually in society, if you're going to go outside the house, you're going to go
Usually
to the
in
grocery store,
society, not
and
all
you're
the
going
time.
to see. You see now you're like very anal about me interrupting you when I wasn't really interrupting you that much, and now you're doing the same thing, right?
I'm just clarifying
So
your
just
terms.
listen.
So
I know, but just
real
listen
quick,
until
right?
the end.
So,
So just
go
let
ahead,
me
go
finish,
ahead,
Amanda, please. So every time you're going outside and you're seeing somebody, right? You're seeing these small acts, right? You're seeing the dress or the pants, and you're seeing the mustache or
I
the
am
lack
seeing
of a
clothing.
mustache, and you're seeing the long hair, and you're seeing the boobs, and you're seeing all these things, right? And it's like you're not checking people for their chromosomes, you're not checking people for their genitals. You're the only thing you're seeing, right, is these external things, right, about themselves, things that they're doing to themselves, right, like putting on makeup, like letting their hair to grow long, and so on, right? Those are the things that are like important, right? And that's how you're deciding. I've never in my life, and I'm 45, I've never in my life checked somebody for their genitals, right, to decide, if they're a man or a woman. Never. And I don't think anybody does that. And I think if you would see somebody to do that, you would think them crazy and weird, right? And you would
So
try
if you were
get
to
as
have
far away
sex
from
with
them as
someone,
possible.
or if you were to change your clothes in front of someone who's claiming to be the same sex as you, and you feel comfortable around that, and then you have your doubts, you wouldn't say, hey, what are you biologically? You wouldn't question that?
Maybe it's like maybe I would have the conversation of their biology.
Right. And why would
Yeah,
you have that
of course.
conversation?
Yeah, because like as I said, it's like you can talk about the biology, but when I'm saying that trans women are women, I'm not necessarily talking about the biology of it all.
Why even acknowledge trans if you believe that these people are women?
I don't believe these people are I mean, trans men are women. Yes, I mean,
Why
yeah,
do you acknowledge trans? Why
correct.
do you keep saying trans women are women if you believe that they are women? Why do you have to keep clarifying which
Oh, because
gender
there's
you
other
are
Because
people.
talking
No, no,
because
about?
we're
I
talking
understand. I
about
understand.
specifically gender.
Yeah, because there's other people like you, for example, who don't think that trans women are women, and there's
But
people
don't you
like
think
you,
you're
for
making it
example,
a
that
bigger
think that trans
deal
women
than
are
I
men.
would?
Actually,
Don't you think you're making it a bigger deal than I would? If what you're saying is based off of the external of a human, and here you go saying, well, this person's a trans woman. Trans women are women. And I'm like, I was even questioning this person. But here you come saying this trans woman is a woman. You're the one bringing more attention to the fact that this person is trying to portray
how
themselves
exactly am
as
I doing that?
Stavia, you were arguing
it's Stavia.
earlier.
First Amender, don't talk to
You
me if you're
were
not going to
arguing.
pronounce my name
You were
correctly.
arguing earlier. Well, I
No,
mean, you seem
I
to
will
be
turn
very
you
offended
down.
by the fact that I'm. Well, I'm a co-host here, so regardless of the
So,
point. So the idea is that number one, you already
your idea is your
no,
idea is
not
not the
my
idea.
idea, the idea. This was something that has been independently verified across multiple different cultures and societies. The question is whether or not that we're willing to engage in that discovery. We began understanding the concept of gender and how hormones affect a person's body differently than what we would consider to be sex typical. We did so. That happened in Germany in the 1930s, and then it was labeled as a perverted Jew science, to where they then murdered the scientists that were studying that. There did exist third spirits among the Native American tribes, but that had been then anglified and removed entirely. Thirdly, you can look at even today, there exists a
What
group
are you
of
talking
people
about?
called
Like, no one cares.
hydras. Well, you're saying that sex and gender are the same thing, but I'm saying that it is not you're acting as if that I'm providing something that is like my idea when it is not my idea. It is empirically verified. The question is whether or not that you're willing to acknowledge its existence. Knowing that gender is different from sex, gender specifically is something that we do repeatedly. It is not simply that something that we are underneath everything else. So
But you can change it. So it's not done repeatedly if you can change
no,
it,
it is.
correct?
The idea is that gender is produced through countless repeated actions. It's how you dress, it's how you speak, it's how you move, it's
But
how
you
you
can
interact
change
with
those
others,
actions,
and how,
correct?
yes, they can change. But it's not as
Okay,
simple
so you
as
can-
like you could
daily,
just
you can
switch
change your gender.
instantaneously. It depends on the repeated, consistent actions. The behaviors
For you,
become
it
so
depends, or for the
familiar.
idea, it depends.
I'm saying for gender, the behaviors, they become so familiar and normalized that they create the appearance of a stable, natural gender identity. So, good analogy. Let's say, money is real. But let's be honest, right? The dollar bill only really has value because people continuously treat it as valuable. It is the repeated social practice that helps create the reality of money, in the same way that it is the repeated social practice that creates the reality of gender. Do you understand?
No. What's your definition of gender?
Gender is an internal sense of self.
That's your definition. What's the
Yes.
worldly definition that we all use?
Gender definition. Gender is defined as the socially constructed roles, behaviors,
Okay,
expressions, and identities of girls, women, boys, men, and gender diverse individuals. It is fundamentally distinguished from sex, in which biological and physiological traits such as chromosomes and reproductive organs.
Okay, pause. So what are some socially constructed roles that women do?
Nurturing?
Women do the housework. They wear dresses.
So
They
many of
submit
them.
to their husbands.
Do you understand?
What do you say?
I mean, I don't agree with what that guy said, but
I mean,
So
those
I'm
are
asking you
examples of
first,
the
Amanda.
roles.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it's like in some societies, like submitting to your husband is something that like the woman does. So, in those societies, it's kind of like the gender role expectations. I don't agree with it.
Has
with,
been
like,
referring to man.
yeah, which is like that's how some societies view women, right? And even like this concept of like a woman can change throughout societies, throughout times. What it means to be a woman or a man today is probably not even close to
Wait,
what it
I
meant to
have a
be a
distinction
man
to
or a
make.
woman like 300 years ago. And even today, if you go to like another country, right, it very much differs, right? And it's clearly not the same thing.
So if
like
it's not
this
the same
is not
thing,
this is not something that is like clear cut and like written in stone, right? It's like a biological thing.
you're mentally ill, all of you.
What exactly did I say that was like mentally ill? Can you explain to me?
The fact that you are like
No,
bringing up
it's like you need to bring examples of what I said that you think it was like mentally illness. It's like I literally explained to you, right? Like a reality of life. Do you think that it means the same to be a woman in United States and Saudi Arabia, for example?
well, I don't think that you
Do
can
you think
change-
they're looking at you to be like a real woman? Well, obviously not, because you're not submitting to your husband.
Well,
You're probably not married and so on, right? It's like you're not having like 7 kids, right? It's like you're not doing that. So it's like they wouldn't consider you like a real woman in that scenario, right?
So-
And that happened like in America like 200 years ago and so on.
I mean,
So what
not
is
at
so why
all.
would
They
you
would
hold on
consider-
real quick? Why would you refer to
So wait a minute,
us as
if it's
mentally
okay-
ill, Stavia?
Hold on. If it's
Why would
okay,
you? No,
if
no,
it's
no. I want
okay
to
for them
understand.
not
Why would you refer
me
to us
a
as
woman,
mentally ill?
if it's
Stavia,
okay
why
for
would you refer to us as
me-
mentally ill?
If it's okay for me, if it's okay
Why
for
can't
them
she
to refer to
respond?
me as not a woman because I don't listen to my husband, why is it okay? Why
That
is it not okay
That is not
for
the
me
argument.
to refer to you?
That is not the
That
argument.
wasn't what I
non-woman.
said. Did you hear
That
what
is
I
not
said?
the argument at all.
Are you
You said they
able
would
to,
not
like,
consider
steel
me a
man?
woman, right?
Stavia, how are we mentally
able to
ill?
steel man what I said?
No, I want to understand her
Daniel,
position here,
you
right?
said-
How are we mentally ill?
Because you believe all this bullshit. Like it's just crazy.
What exactly?
All right, hold on. No,
Daniel,
no, no, no,
You
no, no,
can't
no.
just, like,
Stop,
wave your
stop.
hand
Wait,
and
Daniel.
say
Wait,
bullshit.
Daniel.
you
Wait, Daniel.
said-
Hold on. Wait, hold on.
No, First
So-
Amendment, I'm no
so
longer
you
talking
said
to you. You're
that,
not going to say my name correctly.
you said that you
don't have
all-
respect.
Okay, fine. Then I'll call you Stavia. Okay, Stavia. So you believe in all this bullshit. So it is fair to say people that believe in this, in gender being different from sex, that they are all mentally ill. Is that true?
No. I believe that you think that trans women are women is mentally ill. And the fact that you bring up all these, in quotation, evidence or proof is mentally ill.
You're not tracking. So
Well,
I
that sounds
asked
like a you problem.
you said, no, it's actually a you problem because you're not tracking. So if you stated y'all are mentally ill, I ask you, why are we mentally ill? Your response is it's because you believe in all of this bullshit. So if other people believe in all of that bullshit, are they mentally ill?
I mean, as long as they don't participate within it like you guys do, then I guess it's like a different type of
How
mentally
exactly
ill.
are we participating in?
You're not
Can
under.
you
So
explain that
hold
to
on. Is it the fact that we believe in the bullshit, or is it the fact that we participate in it?
Both of it combined.
So if we participate and believe in the bullshit, then that makes you mentally ill.
Yeah, I mean, according to my views. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
according to your exclusionary
gotcha,
views.
gotcha.
Okay, that's
So
great.
is it fair to say then that neurobiologists, endocrinologists, psychologists,
Mentally ill, dude.
sociologists,
All of them.
and embryologists are all mentally ill?
Anyone who refuses to acknowledge that women is referred to female as in the sex is mentally ill, especially if you have a
You're
degree
aware that
behind
all
that.
of the fields of science that I have referenced have all acknowledged the difference between gender and sex. The only people that do not acknowledge it are typically people who have not read anything on the topic whatsoever.
Like you, probably.
I mean, they can be different.
No, but do
Sex
you
and
understand
gender.
that
Like,
it's
again,
like
it's
you're
like
calling
you're
us
literally what
mentally
you're doing
ill?
right
Can be
now.
You're the
different,
one that is
but it
calling us
doesn't mean
mentally
that you
ill,
can
but the
change-
reality is that the majority of sciences do not agree with you. You're just wrong here. So either
Yeah, it's
you
like, I
have
don't
you have
think you
two
ever read
choices,
anything
right?
about this.
Either A, recognize that gender is different from sex, or be anti-facts and reality. You have to pick your poison here.
So you're telling me that gender, in all regards, no matter what, is different than sex?
Yes.
All the time, 1,000%.
Well, so they are directly.
So no.
Hold. Stop.
Okay, so-
Stop. Calm down. I'm trying to explain it. So gender and sex are heavily interrelated with one another, right? Given the fact that 99% of people, well, you're saying that they're entirely separate, but that's not also correct either. They are interrelated, but they can be severed.
Depending on if the person wants it to be severed or not.
Gender often corresponds with a person's sex.
Often,
Most
but not
people
all the
are
time.
correct. But gender is separate from sex in the sense of what we're describing. And if you observe, right, you can look at neurobiological papers. You can look at endocrinological papers, that's studying the hormones. You can look at psychological papers, sociological papers, and embryological papers,
we can
right?
look at all the papers we want. What's
I'm
that
just
going to
saying,
prove?
like I'm just trying to tell you that gender is separate from sex. It is.
Not all the time, though.
No, it
Not
is.
indefinitely.
It is. They are different concepts.
I just asked
They
you
can be
5
correlated.
seconds ago.
Do you know
They
what
are
correlation is,
interrelated.
Stavia?
There are interrelations that exist between gender and sex. Yes, this is true. Most people are cisgendered.
See how you have to like add all these other words to regular terms just to be able to
how it
identify
works
what you're
when
talking
you're
about?
talking
Like that's
things,
insane.
Stavia. You're gonna use words, and different words have different meanings, right? And it's like if you want to have like a real good conversation, you need to understand every word and exactly what it means, right? And sometimes you have to define things. Just because we are using more words than you're accustomed to doesn't mean we're wrong.
Don't insult me.
Well, I mean, it's like apparently it's like us using a lot of words is like very, very, very bad, and I don't know why
The
you
two
think
words that you've used is gender and sex, and I'm very much aware of
Well,
both
it's like here
definitions.
right now. He wasn't using just gender and sex. He was explaining
He's used
something to you.
cisgender.
And
Oh my
because
gosh,
he
I'm
was
so
using
sorry. He
more
used
words than
cisgender.
just man, woman, male, female. You said, oh, you're just using more words. It's like that's a weird argument to make.
Stavia,
Don't you think?
let me ask you this. Do you hate yourself?
Depends on the day. Just like, my gender.
Sorry to hear
Depends
that.
on the day.
What do you have written on your profile that you hate yourself?
Because I can. And tomorrow it will say I love myself.
Okay. Well, hopefully that you get into a better mood because, geez.
Not good to hate yourself, by the way, Stavia.
No,
I hope
I
you
Not
don't
good to be
recommend
trans
I
either.
recommend a psych.
It's not good to feel like
it's
you're
okay.
in the wrong body. It's not good to
it's fine.
mutilate your own
It's fine.
body.
It's fine to
fit
be
your narrative.
No, it's fine to be transgender. There's nothing wrong with being
It's not
transgender
fine
in
to be
and of itself.
transgender.
No, you know what is.
Why
you
is
know
it not
why
fine to be
people- You know why
transgender?
trans people feel bad?
Why is it not fine to hate
Just a
myself?
second, Amanda.
Why is it not fine
You
to
know
be
why- You know why a lot
transgender?
of people.
Because
a lot
if
of
you're-
trans people
hate
feel bad,
myself.
Stavia?
If you hate yourself, then I
Just
think
let
that
me-
you
let
hurt
me- let me-
yourself.
Let me tell her a thing, please. Let me tell her a thing. So, Stavia, the reason why a lot of trans people feel bad is because of people like you. It's about people like you that don't recognize their humanity, that don't recognize the fact that they're just like different, and don't try to actually make them feel comfortable, right? And feel safe, that they can live their life.
So it's my
according to
job
their
to make
own
other
rules.
people
No,
feel safe
it's not.
about
I
their
didn't say
own
it's your
decision.
job. It's like your
It's
job
my
is not to make them
responsibility
feel.
to make other people
your
feel safe
job is
about their
not to
own
pamper
decisions.
them.
That
It's
they
also
wake
not
up
your
and make
job to be
daily.
Okay,
I
Stavia,
mean, it
was
kind of
still
is
talking.
like
I
it
didn't-
is your
it's
job
like
to
it's not your
like
job
have
to
a
be a cunt
modus
to
of like
them. That's all.
decorum with people. Like you don't come up to people and like flick them off as soon as you like walk past them. You have a level of social dignity that you apply to all
I have every
individuals.
right to, though.
I mean, you have a right to. It just
Especially if
doesn't
they're
make you like
your right to
not
be
a
a cunt.
expressing
asshole.
things that I don't
Yeah,
agree
I mean,
with, right?
Anybody
You could
has
like
that
be
right.
you could be like a bad
I don't
person,
think
I
you should,
guess. But you don't have to wake up
Do you
and
think
choose
it's
I don't think you
violence.
should
bad?
You can
believe
just
that trans
you can
women
just
are
you
women.
can just be
That's
on our
what-
side and acknowledge the science here. The science
What
is
is
in
the
our
science
favor.
here?
That gender is different from sex.
That is not science.
That is science.
Literally,
That is
it is not
science.
science.
That is science.
I mean,
Do you want me to show
Sophia,
you?
it's like, what is your background? What is your background? What did you study in your life?
What does this have to do with anything?
Well, I mean, because it kind of tells us like the level of like relevance of you talking about stuff. It's like if you have no
Right.
no
So,
knowledge about anything, it's like how can you talk about anything? It's like what is your level of education?
right, because
Did you
levels of
ever study? Did you
education,
ever study anything
levels.
that's related
Hold on,
to
I was
biology?
talking. Are you interrupting me,
Yeah,
Daniel?
I was moving forward, right, with the question.
Right.
Yeah, you can answer. It's very easy.
What was your question, or your two
Yeah,
questions?
Did
your
you
three
ever
questions?
study anything that's related to like biology or medicine or
Are we
psychology?
talking about biology, or are we talking about
No,
gender?
yeah, well, because
Biology
Oh, which one are we talking
gender.
about?
just told
Biology
you.
is
Amanda
gender.
just told you that the science tells us so, right? And that science is like neurology, embryology, right? Like usually biology and medical sciences, right? They tell us that, right? And
They
psychology.
tell us what?
Yeah.
They
So
tell us what
I
exactly?
want to I want to I want to present.
Sex. You're not tracking.
So
gender is
Daniel,
sex?
can I present? Let me try to present something here.
different, I say.
Have you ever heard of consensus.app? Do you know what that is?
Who are you talking to?
I'm asking
To
you.
No.
Okay. So consensus.app is an AI aggregate site where it specifically grabs scientific papers. You can ask it specific scientific questions, and then you will receive what the science says about a given topic. And I want to share that with you. I asked it the simple question, is gender different from sex? Yes, gender is different from sex, though they interact closely and are often confused. Sex and gender are key concepts in health and social research.
You're reading
and
this off
many
AI?
papers. No, this is different. It is a consensus AI where it specifically grabs
aggregator.
only from scientific papers. It is
So
not
what
grabbing
paper,
it from
what
Reddit.
specific paper are you reading off of right now?
So this is an aggregate of multiple papers. If you want the specific papers, I can provide those for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go into the specific papers.
So gender is different from sex. Sex and gender are key concepts in health and social research, and many papers stress the need to keep them conceptually distinct while recognizing that they are intertwined. Sex typically refers to the biological traits
So are you
such
going
as
to go to a
chromosomes.
specific paper?
Yes, I
Or are you
will.
just gonna-
Calm down.
Okay. So
Come on.
go-
Just
no,
let
'cause
me read it.
You're
and then,
going
and then
over
you
the
can come.
definitions that we've
Yeah, I'm
already
reading
agreed
it.
to
Yeah, I'm
disagree
reading
on.
it. I'm reading it. You're saying that the science that you're telling me that you're interested in the science, and I'm presenting to you
You're presenting
what
me
the
the
science
AI.
says. Yeah, and it also provides you all of the references. There are literally dozens of
Okay, so
references for
provide
this.
the references. I want to see where these AI papers got what they're getting
Okay,
from.
differentiating sex and gender in health of research to achieve gender. This is a 2023. There's 65 citations. Michelle R. Kaufman. There is checking assumptions, advancing the
Who
analysis
is
of sex and
Michelle?
gender.
Who is Michelle? Who is Michelle?
One of the scientists that researched this.
Okay, are you gonna link her? Let's look her up. And I swear, if she's a liberal or Democrat, I'm gonna shoot myself.
Oh, okay. So just to be clear, right? You only agree with things that empirically
cannot do
that
science
agree
if
with
you're a
you.
Democrat.
Is that how that works? Or do
I
we
mean,
just like
no.
look at what the science says and then realize that the science is not in your favor here and that you're in the echo chamber? It is,
If
by
we're
the way,
looking at
what
all-
I
if we're-
always get
hold on.
referenced, Stavia, what gets referenced to me all the time is that they refer to me, they provide projection where they call it the trans ideology, when in reality,
First
that it is
Amender.
not the trans ideology. In fact, it is the anti-trans ideology.
First
There is no
Amender, if
trans
you are going to do
ideology in the same
research-
way that there is no gravity ideology. You either acknowledge the facts as they are
part of the
or move
gravity
forward
ideology,
with that.
Amanda?
Do you understand?
God damn.
This is the
First
problem.
Amender.
So
If you are going
sex,
to do research, are you
So
going to
sex-
get all your research from the same group of people who have the
I'm
same
getting my
belief
research.
system?
I'm getting my research from
And I'm asking
empirically
you to
backed
look into these
sources.
people who you are getting your research from.
Yeah, so
is that
this
such
is
a hard thing to ask?
yeah, so this is a bulletin of
Are
the
you going to
World
trust
Health
every resource?
Organization. This is yes, I don't have a reason to doubt the resources unless if there's conflicting literature. Checking assumptions, advancing the analysis of sex and gender in the health audiences. There is another paper here, differentiating sex and gender with health research to achieve gender
Post it.
equality.
I
I
wanna read
have been.
exactly
Yeah,
what
I
you're
have it
reading.
right here.
You know, you can.
Do you not
literally
see my
click on the
live?
stream, like Amanda's stream.
No, I wasn't looking at your
and you
stupid
can-
live.
Yeah, you can. You can.
My
do that. You
stupid
can-
live.
Okay,
You know
so
you're on
click the
YouTube,
reference.
right?
Let's
You
look
know
up
you're
this
on
Michelle
YouTube,
person.
right? And there's like dozens of people listening to you
doesn't.
right now, right?
No, I had no idea. Let's
Okay,
look
well
up
you are on
Yeah,
YouTube. You're on
yeah,
my
live, you know
channel.
that,
I welcome.
And my channel.
So go ahead. Let's
Much
look up this
smaller, but
Michelle
yeah.
person. Let's look at any of the resources cited.
Okay. So we want to pull up the differentiating sex and gender in health research to achieve gender equity. Let's pull it up.
Just subscribe.
Thank you for the subscribe, Kitty Cat XD. Really appreciate you. Thank you.
Gross Kitty Cat XD.
They're laughing at you, Stavia.
Subscribe. Wow.
I don't see anyone laughing at me, but that's okay.
Yeah, they can't hear you because
That's
they're
on
not.
his
They're in my chat, right? You don't see
I know.
them
I'm looking at your
on the
screen right
Discord.
now. I don't see anyone laughing at
Anyway,
me.
so this is so it says here differentiating sex and gender of health research to achieve gender equity.
All
Michelle
right, let's
R.
look at
Kaufman,
Michelle.
Evan L. Eskleman, and Tahlin Sanchez Carver worked on this paper. This is from
Okay,
the
so let's
John
look at
Hopkins
Michelle.
Bloomberg School of Public Health, the Department of Health, Behavior and Society, 624 North Broadway,
Okay, so
Hampton
let's
House.
look up Michelle. Like I've been saying.
Why are you need to look up the specific people? Are they
Are
just
you going to
are they
trust
bullshit?
anything that these? What?
Are they bullshit? Unless if I
I
see
mean,
like there's competing
probably, yeah.
research. Yeah, this is
That's
just
how you
from the
do
John
research,
Hopkins.
you know.
Yeah, okay. So here okay, we'll pull it up. This is the Department of Affiliations, Health and Behavior Society, International Health Divisions, Health Systems. This is Michelle R. Kaufman, PhD,
Oh,
MA
she's just
from
a
the John
PhD?
Hopkins
God
Bloomberg
damn.
School of Public Health. This is the Michelle Kaufman, PhD, MA, designs, implements, and evaluates technology-driven interventions to reduce health disparities and promote wellness among vulnerable populations. Her research interests include gender, sexuality, health disparities, women's health, LGBTQ health, adolescent health, HIV, substance use, mental health, interpersonal violence, youth mentoring, M-health, social media, digital media, and AI.
So when she said women's health, do you think she was referring to the sex or the gender?
The gender.
The gender only.
Well, the women are included, like the biological women are included among that. Right? Because there are cisgendered women. You would have the gender of woman.
We use the example of corona disease 2019 to show how conflicting these terms and data collection make it difficult to.
What are you reading?
The paragraph.
But since you're like very very keen on this science, right? Of like, do you have like any like group of like scientific studies that actually
Do I
say
have
that
to?
gender and
Yeah,
well, I mean, it would be nice if you had any of those, right? Because it's like on one side, it's like we're providing you with like the scientific literature on this, right? That kind of tells us that sex and gender, they're not the same thing, and you're saying, well, this is bullshit and mental illness, right? So since you're saying this is bullshit and mental illness, you should be basing that on something, right? Because I feel like if you're not basing it on anything, that's actually the mental illness, right? Because you're just like hallucinating.
I'm
stuff.
basing on the fact that I'm a woman and I
the
know what
gender-
women can
the
do
gender-
and I know what
the-
women
yeah,
are.
Yeah. You can be a cisgendered woman. You're not invalidated.
No,
By
I'm
the
not
way,
a
no,
cisgendered
Amanda,
woman.
I
I'm a
have the
woman.
best retort. I have the best
Cisgendered
retort to this,
woman
because
with,
you know what?
yeah, I'm sorry.
Trans
Do you
women-
have
trans women are
XX
women,
chromosomes and have a
trans men are men,
vagina?
and I know because I'm a man.
I'm sorry, I don't like your vocabulary.
You don't like
I
me
don't believe
saying
in
if you have
vocabulary.
XX chromosomes and vagina?
I don't believe in cisgenderism.
Why can't you acknowledge that women have XX
Why do I have
chromosomes
to
and
acknowledge
vaginas?
anything?
I'm just want to point out that that's like an insane thing to say. And I say this as
I
a
didn't say
very
anything.
staunch LGBTQIA plus representative.
What did I say?
I'm clipping that. I just want to let you know that. The conclusion here says that sex and gender are not the same. Sex refers to mainly biological characteristics,
Refers
while gender
mainly,
captures
not
social
1000%,
roles, identities,
mainly.
and power relations. Both influence health, behavior, and inequality in different but interacting ways. Treating them as interchangeable or forcing them into simple binaries can distort research and policy. Separately and accurately measuring each leads to clearer understanding and better, more equitable interventions. So this is the conclusion of the aggregate of whether or not gender is different from sex. So I don't know. I mean, you were saying that you are pro-science. Let me ask you this, right? I've read tons and tons of books that are anti-gender, right? Where they push against it heavy. I read Kristi Noem's book. I read Ron DeSantis's book. All sorts of different books I've read where they were arguing against gender. Have you read any pro-gender books so you understand what you're arguing against?
Do I have to read any of those books to understand what I'm arguing against?
I think that if you plan on being this staunch of an advocate against trans people, it would probably make sense to understand the arguments.
The arguments that they want to wake up daily and change how the world perceives them.
Nobody's making that.
No one argued that.
Fine.
0 people argued that. You're
That's
making
what it is,
you're
though.
making that up.
It isn't.
That's literally what it is.
Okay, that's not what it is. You're just making that up. I'm telling you, you're making that up.
And I'm telling you, you're making it up.
No, I'm not, because the science is not in your favor here. I'm not making it up. And just so you're aware, I've already pointed this out. I've already pointed this out, Stavia, that there have been multiple cultures that have been able to establish the existence of gender independent of the West.
I don't get why you're trying to push it onto people.
I'm not pushing it.
You are.
No.
It's about the reality.
I'm providing that
the reality is none of this was even popular. None of this was even a thing.
It doesn't matter if it's popular or not. Ad populum fallacy. That's not an argument.
Yes, Stavia, like being gay.
And also,
was not popular,
and just so
like,
you're aware,
100
right?
years ago.
We've been doing. I believe that I think it was like in the late 1800s when we had done. There were experiments done on chickens where they removed the gonads from roosters and realized that they established hen-like qualities. So we knew that there was something going on specifically among the gonads that would cause feminization or masculinization depending on what was given to the animals. And it is not different for humans. And this is as early as the 1890s that this was discovered. So there can be differences from the external genitalia and what is actually exhibited externally. There are literal mechanistic categories that cause this to exist and the separation of sex and gender. That's why endocrinology understands the difference between sex and gender.
Would you consider a social role of a woman getting pregnant?
Social role of a woman getting, I don't believe that women socially have to get pregnant. No.
I didn't say have to, but do you think that a role of a woman in society would be to get pregnant and have kids?
Sure, it could be one of them.
It doesn't have to be, though.
Correct. For example, not all women have babies, and there's nothing wrong with a woman deciding I'm not going to have a baby. That doesn't make them a less of a woman or not a woman.
Well, no, but it just makes them not fitting in with the role, the social role of what a woman is.
Wait a second. So it's like you're saying that a woman that is not having a baby is less of a woman?
Well,
No, I never said that at all.
it is the
I said they're not
performa-
fitting into
So
the
what
standard.
exactly are you saying?
it is
I'm saying they're not
Because I
fitting
don't
into
get
the
it.
social roles of what a woman is.
Yeah, this goes back into the performative nature of woman, right? It is repeated social actions that result in woman. And it's safe to say that one of those could be having a baby, but it is not required in order to have a baby to be woman. So like
So
they
if
could or could
they're-
not decide, but it is the collection of behaviors and traits that result in woman, performative.
So if we changed, instead of it saying like women's clothing, if we changed it to females' clothing, with that, and a guy was in a dress, which would be considered a female choice of clothing, how would that work?
I mean,
But it
I would,
wouldn't. That's the thing. There's no such thing as female clothing.
Feminine.
Because, yeah, but that's different than female, right? It's like female.
yeah,
and
because
feminine, they're
you're talking
different-
about the
different
sex.
things.
There's nothing in your chromosomes that says thou shalt wear dress.
Yeah, it's
But
like
sex
your
isn't just about
chromosomes do not prohibit you from wearing
It's about
pants.
biological, physical attributes, correct?
I mean, can a man
What,
wear a
wearing
dress?
pants? Yeah.
Can a woman wear pants?
I mean, a man can wear a dress, that won't make him a woman.
Okay.
Oh, that would make him like Scottish and very manly, by the way.
Scottish. It's good.
And
We're just
so
trying
you
to
know,
bu-
like,
we're
high
just trying to
heels-
bring up the
high heels
variable
were not
nature
even
here.
initially meant as something for women, right? High heels
True.
were worn by men initially. So like not even that. It's like I don't know what you're saying. It's like these are just like performative things that we do, right? And they change throughout time, right?
And
Like
it's
if
the
I was back
constant-
in like the 15th century and I didn't wear makeup as a man, I would be considered like manly, right? Because I didn't wear
But you wouldn't be
makeup and a
considered
wig
not a
and all
man.
that
You just
shit.
be considered not manly.
Well, some people wouldn't consider me a man. That's the whole thing. I can show you right now. I remember there was like this what's it called? Like this video from like a prison in like whatever freaking like Asian country where like this guy was talking about like other guys and he was saying like they're not men, they're women. They're
Let
my
me-
women.
Let's see if anything was learned. Is sex and gender different things, Stavia?
She already said no. She already thinks that they are the same.
I mean, now, like we
I
threw a
don't
lot of
believe they are the
information
same
at them.
thing.
She's not gonna change her mind.
Okay, no. I think I
like,
can help with
the
this.
amount of
Hold on, I
data
think
is
I
not
could help
gonna
with this,
help.
right? So you said no, sex and gender are not different.
Yeah.
Okay, so does the term hot cold make any sense to you?
Nope.
Make any sense? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm writing what
Not
you're
with no
saying.
context.
No. Okay, so the term hot cold doesn't make any sense. Why? Is it because that hot and cold are opposites?
No, there's just no context to it. Like, what do you want me to make out of that?
I mean, can you imagine
I thought
something
you said hot
that is
cold,
hot
to be
cold?
honest. I thought you said hot COAL. I thought you said hot
Sorry,
cold.
I meant hot cold as in the temperature. Does the term hot cold make any sense to you?
Hey, yo. Can I
Yeah.
chime in on this?
No, hold on. I just want to understand here. Does the term hot cold make any sense to you?
Yeah.
It makes sense?
Yep.
How so?
It's hot and cold. Hot, cold.
Motherfucking freezer
How
burn.
can something be hot and cold at the same time? Stavia?
That's not what you said, though. You didn't say hot, cold are the same.
That's
You
literally
didn't
what he
say.
said.
Hold on.
That's
He did
literally what
not
he said.
say. Hold on. He did not say. Hot and cold are they the same thing? Or are hot and cold?
No,
He said.
no. I
what
said,
hot,
does
cold
the
mean to you?
term hot cold make any sense to you? You said yes. So
Yeah.
you said it's hot and cold. So
Yeah.
how can something be hot and cold?
I mean, it just is. It's just hot and cold.
What is hot?
I don't know. What is it? What is hot?
Hot is where molecules move fast and create friction amongst one another. cold is that there is less of that. So something can't physically be hot and cold. Isn't it fair to say?
Are we only talking about physical things?
Well, we're talking about hot and cold. That's kinetic energy. That's physical. There's no spiritual hot and cold.
So the air being hot is physical.
Yes. The air rubs molecules against one another, causing friction that makes it hot.
Okay.
I didn't think we were going to have to describe temperature tonight. But
so it's fair to say that hot and cold, those are opposites.
You could say they're opposites, yeah.
What is the opposite of hot?
Are the effects opposite? You can get.
Why can't you answer that question?
You can get a burn.
What is the opposite of hot? We're going back to kindergarten. I literally, when I would ask a kindergartner, what is the opposite of hot?
Cold.
Okay. So they're not analogous. They are opposites, right?
In your phrasing, yeah, but they could be together.
Okay. What is the opposite?
In reality.
Okay, great. What is the opposite of man?
Female.
Okay, so what woman? Is woman the opposite of man?
No.
What?
So what is it, the opposite of man?
Female.
Is it rock?
So I'm gonna get into the death knell of the point of my discussion of why I even asked you all of these questions. Does the term manly woman make any sense to you?
Yeah.
Why does that make sense to you?
Because there's a woman who could act more manly.
Oh! So, you do acknowledge the difference between sex and gender?
No.
You just did!
How so?
You just acknowledged manly woman. You said a woman that acts in a manly way. If they were
that means
the same
they're
thing,
transgender.
if that they were synonymous, no,
that means
that's
they're
different.
If a woman
if you
acts
were
manly,
saying,
that
if you
means they're
were saying that
transgender?
they are that sex and gender were the same thing, the concept of manly woman would make just as much sense as hot cold, because you don't have a secondary characteristic to align it to.
Manly female and manly woman is the same thing.
Did that go over your head? I think it went over her head.
Manly woman is the same thing as a manly female.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what else to do. I feel like I did it. I feel like.
Would you not agree with that?
You're still not attributing the difference between sex and gender here. You're just trying to push it together to make it work. Yeah, I know you don't, because you're anti-science, and even after I take you through the very obvious logic, you still refuse it. And I just think that what it comes down to, I don't know what your internal motivations are, but I find it's very similar to where people have been propagandized by a heteronormative orthodoxy, where they try to force a binary distribution of sex and gender, that it must only be sex and cannot be another. However, it is less explanatory than understanding the difference between sex and gender. And so therefore it is rejected under that basis. In the same way that we reject flat earthers, or we reject gravity deniers. Anyway, let's see if we could get somebody else. I'm kind of curious who else is available to have discussions.
I'd like to speak on the topic.
Sure, Salamander.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll take the same stance as Stavia, that being the critical stance.
Yeah. Okay. Can I start with him? Okay. So, do you think gender and sex are the same thing, or do you think they're different?
I would either reject the category gender or make it synonymous with sex.
So you think they're the same thing?
I would think if gender is a thing, then it's the same as sex. Yes.
Okay, so how would you define woman?
Yeah, I would use the traditional definition of adult human female.
Okay, so if you're outside your house and you would go to the grocery store and you would see somebody
Yes.
And then you would kind of have to make like a decision, right? It's like, oh,
Yeah,
is that a
I would
woman? Is that a
I would
man?
make. Yeah, I
How
would
would
look
you
at
do
their.
it usually?
Yeah, I would look at their appearance, and I would make a guess based on that, and I could be wrong. Like
Oh,
somebody.
so you're not gonna make that. Yeah, but you're not gonna make that. You know, you're not gonna look at them and then ask them exactly. Oh, do you have vagina? Do you have, a penis? Right? You're just gonna look at the external things about the person, right?
Yeah,
Like the
if
presentation, so to speak.
if I was determined to find out what their sex was, I would ask.
And
I would
how
ask
would you do
those
that?
more. Huh? Yeah, if I was
So,
determined
for
to.
example, if you were to determine somebody's sex, how would you do that?
Mhm. Oh, like how do I define male and female?
No. How would you determine the sex?
I don't think I have the necessary equipment on me at all times to make that definitive determination.
Well, obviously, I'm not saying that on the in the moment, right? But in general, it's like, how would you determine somebody's
Yeah.
sex?
So the way I would make a first assumption would be based on looks, like what does their facial structure look
No.
like?
I'm not talking about like secondary sexual characteristics, right? It's like you want to determine somebody's sex, like let's say like for real, right? It's like you want to be sure about somebody's sex. How would you do that?
I would look into their genetics if you're saying I have the means to do so.
And what would it have to say?
Yeah, so I would look for.
Let's say if it's a woman, what does it have to say?
Yeah, so if I'm trying to, if what would verify to me that someone is a woman, based on looking at their genetics, would be if they lack a functioning SRY gene. That would inform me that they're female, and if they're adult, it would follow that they're a woman.
Okay, and what if they don't have that, but they have, let's say, like a working vagina, like working not vagina, because you say we're talking about the women, right? So they don't have that, but they have like working testes.
So you mean they?
I'm just saying, it's like how would you what would you do?
I'm defining female as the lack of a functioning SRY gene. So you're saying if I do find a functioning SRY gene, is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
Okay. So if I do find a functioning SRY gene and everything about their appearance would otherwise indicate female to me, I'm going to say they're a male who looks very much like a female, even if they're not one.
Okay, so for example, you would take, do you know like about Castor Semenya?
Can you repeat that?
Do you know about Castor Semenya?
I don't. Can you send them in the side chat?
She's an athlete. She's an athlete. I think he's from like South Africa. I think you know more about that, Amanda, like where she's from. But I think she's from South Africa or something. And she actually, she's a woman. She lived her whole life as a woman. Nobody's calling her not a woman. But she does have like working testes.
So does
otherwise, she has a vagina. She has like all the presentation of a woman.
Are you
like
saying this person
is...
has an androgen insensitivity syndrome?
I don't know exactly what she has, but I'm telling you exactly how she presents, right? Like the
well, if you're saying that this person has, if you're saying this person has,
I'm giving you all the important details, right? It's like I'm not skipping anything, right? So it's like that. It's a person that is like presenting as a woman, like breasts, vagina, everything, except the only difference, right, is like she has like an internal working testes.
Yeah, I would say that
that obviously she discovered later in life, right?
This is I think this is a case of androgen insensitivity syndrome, which results when someone does have a functioning SRY gene.
She did not have androgen insensitivity syndrome. It was a form of a rare form of DID.
That's why I don't care.
A rare form.
I don't care about
DID.
Like, naming the whole thing, right?
DID is dissociative.
It wasn't androgen.
Disorder.
It wasn't. It was no. It was. I'll pull it up specifically what it was, but it wasn't androgen insensitivity syndrome. I'll pull it up.
Okay, because this type of case I associate with androgen insensitivity syndrome. The internal testes, but external female. external female genitalia.
Yeah,
and
she has
secondary
a
sex
she has a condition called the 5-alpha reductase 2 deficiency. It is an autosomal recessive condition caused by mutations of impairing function of the SRD5A2 gene located in chromosome 2 and encoding in the enzyme 5-alpha reductase type 2.
Can you send that in the side chat?
Yep.
Just so I can reread that myself.
Yeah, I mean, I can put you like the wiki article about her. So the reality is, though, right? It's like by your standards, you would have to say that she's a man, right? So it's like everybody would just have to say, "Oh, she's a man," right? I mean, that's a man.
I would say by my standard, well, I don't know the particular case with 5A reductase 2 deficiency, but if it was androgen insensitivity syndrome, which is very similar in its effects, I would say that this person is a man, despite looking like the contrary. Yes.
So let me ask you this:
So you didn't care, right? So just I want to let me be, Amanda, just a second. So you would say that person is not a woman, so you would have to prohibit her from like going into women's spaces, right? So despite the fact that she has breasts and the vagina, for example, you would have to relegate it to a changing room full of men, right?
Well, I don't have a firm stance on the changing room topic. I don't know if that should be segregated.
Yeah, but that's important. You understand why that's important, right? Because this is not just like this highly intellectual like exercise where we just like, oh, I'm just gonna say it's a man. It's like no, because these are like they have like real life consequences,
Daniel,
right? It's like you can't just say she's a man, right? And then say, well, but actually she's a man, but actually, you know, she can be in the women's bathroom, but then you're gonna say, well, men can be in women's bathroom, right? And would that be okay with you?
So per Daniel,
the distinction.
Real quick,
Okay,
Daniel,
I'll let him understand.
He would have to actually bite the bullet on this, because they said that Castor Semenya, in all intents and purposes, is a man. Yet Castor Semenya has a vagina. So let me ask you this, Salamander: can men have vaginas?
I would say yes.
Okay, well, at least he's willing to bite the bullet on that.
In these extremely rare cases, I would say yes, and I would say that.
Do you think it's probably fair to say that maybe the binary characteristic that you're trying to apply is starting to break down, considering the fact that you're willing to bite the bullet on the fact that
my
men can have
binary
vaginas.
characteristic is the gene. And I haven't turned against that that definition.
But
yet,
you know what you're doing, right? When you're talking about genes, it's like you're doing like this argument of like gene determinism, which is not necessarily good, right? It's like genes don't determine things in the way you kind of think they determine things, right? It's like the human body, you know, ever like since the embryo is kind of developing, right? It's like it's a very complex system. Right, where there's a lot of like feedback loops and mechanisms and like negative feedback, and you know, it's not just genes, it's genes, and then the appearance of like hormones and all other things, like it's a slew of things,
and I think that applies.
The chemical reactions in there, they're like very complex, right?
Yeah, they are.
The reality
complex
is like
chemical reactions.
There's some studies being done, and it's the incipient stage, right? Because it's like there's not that many people researching trans people because they're like a very small minority, right? But there might be the case that there's something in the brain, right, that kind of like makes you be trans, right? So, for example, like if in the future, right, we actually do find that with like reliably and say, well, you see, there is this thing in the brain that kind of like turns you, right? And it's like you're feeling you're like a woman in a man's body, right? And vice versa, right? Then in that case, like this whole argument of like chromosomes just like falls apart, right?
Well, I mean, if it is the case that we see that we go out and we find neurological similarities that only exist in both cis and trans women, but not in cis and trans men, then I would say I would say
so
that
what
would
I'm
be a
saying
coherent
is,
definition of gender.
yeah. So
But
what
I
I'm
think
saying
the
is,
studies are not conclusive enough on that, and
no,
I
I
can tell you why.
already granted that, right? It's in incipient stages, and I grant that. It's like we don't have that much information right now. That's why I'm not using it as an argument. I just said if in the future, right? It's like, because we're gonna research it a bit more, right? And we're gonna, let's say, find, okay, there's such a thing as a man's brain and a woman's brain, right? And they're different in these small aspects that we found here, right?
Sure.
That's what I was saying. Obviously, that's not the case right now. Okay, I'm not using it as an argument. It's just like a what if this happens.
Yeah,
But
I would say. Yeah,
can I do
a?
can I do like a, yeah, no, sure.
Yeah, I
But
think
I want
if,
to do like a mind experiment with you. I like
yeah,
a
I
thought
think
experiment.
if we find it to be the case that there are consistent brain similarities, like you're pointing out, then that would create a new definition of gender that can be used. That would be based on neurology rather than social characteristics. I think that would be coherent. I just don't think that that's available yet.
Well, I already granted that, right? That's why
Yeah.
it was like a what if. But I want to go further, right? Because I wanted
Go
to
ahead.
talk about this kind of like a start to something else, right? So, for example, you have a sense of yourself, right? Of who you are, right? And I know that because I have a sense of who I am, right? And I think of myself as a man, and I like the manly things and all that shit, right? And now, I try to kind of like move.
I believe that
Sorry,
I am
go
a
ahead.
man based off certain characteristics that I have, just like I believe I'm a human based off certain characteristics.
Yeah,
that
but
I have.
that's what I'm saying. It's like there's an internal sense of who you are, right? You have the internal sense of who Salamander is, just like I have my internal sense of who Daniel is, right?
Sure.
With all the aspects of that make me, right?
Sure, and I would say I would say that my internal sense can be correct or incorrect depending on the information I have and don't have access to. Like if
I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think you are you, right? And it's like you are who you think you are and who you are in your own head. It's like there's no such thing as being incorrect about what you think about yourself, right? It's like because that's who you are. But that's like a different conversation. But the reason I asked you this is because we can move forward from this, and let's just say, okay, so you have this internal sense of who you are, and now imagine you're going to sleep, right? And you're just going to sleep in your bed, and it's like nighty night and all that shit, right? Unknown to you, though, right? It's like you don't know this, but there's like this evil scientist, mad scientist, right?
Sure.
That fucking hates your guts, right? And he just comes to you, to your house, right? He drugs you. You're just falling asleep. You're not waking up. You're under anesthesia, right?
Yeah.
And you know what he does? He just takes your brain, right?
Yeah.
And just transplants your brain into a female body, right?
Okay.
Don't worry yourself about rejection and anything, right? He has like this great medicine. It's not going to be rejected.
Sure,
right?
he's evil, but he's smart. Get it? Go on.
Exactly, right? Evil but smart. Okay. So, and now it's like you went to bed as Salamander, right? Who's like a man. He likes the manly things and all that shit, right? And then you're waking up in the body that's not yours anymore, right? That's a different body. But now it's like you're gonna have to live your whole life in that body, right? It's like, and now it's like you don't have your penis, now you have your vagina and your boobies and all that stuff, right? Like everything that's usually associated with like the female anatomy.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Okay.
My question would be,
ask your
right?
question.
The morning you wake up, right, and you realize you're in a different body. Do you think the image of yourself, the image you have of yourself, would like instantly change in like, oh well, I guess I'm a woman now, right? It's like, do you think that's what would happen?
I think that would intellectually happen. Like if I saw that I was female in every sense, like that you were describing. Even my DNA has changed somehow.
But would you feel like a woman? Huh? Would you feel like, would you do like the woman things? Because see, if you're saying that gender and sex are not the same thing, that would mean that instantly you would also have to change like everything about you, right? So instantly you would have, oh well, I guess I'm going to wear high heels and a dress, and I'm going to wear makeup, and I'm going to do all these things.
I would say that I'd probably after that scenario, assuming I can go and live my life and the scientist isn't like keeping like kidnapping me, like holding me hostage, I would say I would go on to live as a tomboy and maintain my personality characteristics, but I would no longer be a man.
Yeah, but you know that like even a tomboy is not like a tomboy is still a woman, not a
Yeah,
man.
I would be a woman in that scenario, and I would go on to live as a masculine woman, or a woman with masculine characteristics, or at least as masculine as I currently am.
So would you would stop being a man, is what you're saying? It's like you would just like fully become a woman, but you're going
Yeah,
to reject
I might
everything
not.
that
I
you
might not.
actually don't like about being a woman, right? You just
Yeah, I
like
mean,
reject
I
everything
might not
and
like.
just
I
say,
might not
well,
like
actually,
it, but I would be.
no, but yeah, but you would be rejecting it, right? It's like
Huh?
everything that means to be a woman, you would kind of reject it, but you
I,
still
I would.
call
I
yourself
would
a woman. So
probably.
you do like everything that a man does, right? And like the performative aspects of like what it means to be a man, but you would kind of just call yourself a woman,
I would continue
right?
to.
Despite the fact that like everything
Can I
else is just
answer?
like a man.
Yeah,
Sure.
I would say I would act in a way that is typical for men to act, despite not being a man in that scenario. And I would prefer to have been a man, because I think that tends to mesh better with my personality. But I would be like, oh well, nothing I can do. I'm gonna go be
There is
a
something you can
masculine
do,
woman.
actually.
Can I tell you a thing? Because this is really interesting, because these things kind of happen, right? Like this thing that I've told you, they kind of happen in reality, right? It's not to the extent that I had in my thought experiment, right? But you know, sometimes men, right? They start to have like men boobs, right? They start to like their breasts just grow, right? And you know what happens? It's like when that happens, like a lot of men actually have what's it called, Amanda? Oh my
A
gosh,
gender
I'm
affirming
blanking.
surgery?
Gender dysphoria, right? When that happens, yeah. So they literally suffer from gender dysphoria, because they say, well, it's like that's not my body. It's like I see myself as a man. It's like what are these boobs? It's like these boobs are not who I am. It's like, and they literally just suffer from dysphoria. It's like they don't just go and say, whatever, I'm gonna be a tomboy now.
My thing is that you
I probably wouldn't like my body, but I would still say this is my body, and these are the characteristics that I have.
But you can change
that. But it's like you understand what I'm telling you, right? Because it's like you're kind of doing this because I think you're kind of like denying like the real aspects of what's happening there.
I don't. Can you explain to me what I've denied that you think is obviously?
I think you're kind of denying the fact that like this new sex that you'd have would be like incompatible with like your idea of yourself, right? And it's like, and when you're talking about trans people, that's usually what it kind of is, right? It's like the idea that they have about themselves, right? And that's why when you're saying like a trans woman, right? It's like it's kind of like you have a woman in a man's body, right? A woman in a male body, basically, right? So we can differentiate even more like this. And that's how you would feel, right? You would literally at that moment
feel like
you would literally be trans, right? By all, like by everything we mean to be trans, you would be a trans
I would say
person,
that I would
the
say
idea of yourself
after
would not change.
I would say after the surgery that he does, I would say I cease to be a man, but I continue to be masculine. And I would not like that, probably.
So why would we even like, because again I don't really get it. It's like why would we even like have the term man and woman in that case? It seems so redundant. It's like it's useless, right? Is it just because we want to differentiate what it means to be male and female after a specific age? It's weird. And like, why are we even using that? It's like why does it happen that we had societies where literally we had like societies that had like a third gender, right? How does that work, right? Because it's like that clearly doesn't work with biology.
Can I comment on this? I've been wanting to get in on this for now.
I'll let Walking X say something.
Base, thank you. So if I can summarize and sort of steelman both sides of the argument here, essentially what one side's saying is like, you're alluding to fictionalism, which is like an epistemic and a quasi-modernistic like philosophical idea, which is that like things like gender, things like societal roles,
No.
hierarchies, the way they fashion themselves, etc., are cultural fictions. And fictions are actually the things by which
Walking X,
things come to be. I'm not finished speaking yet.
I know
Hold
you're
on.
not finished
Before you
speaking,
shout over
but
me.
you're basing it.
Somebody
off
do
of
something about this.
What is fictionalism? Are you referring
Hey,
to
Amender.
Where people
Amender,
don't
please be
acknowledge
quiet.
the
Let him
difference
finish,
between
let him
gender and sex?
All right, I'll mute myself again.
No, Amanda, just let him finish, please.
All right, go ahead. Let's go ahead and understand the
you see
quote-unquote fictionalism that like
Okay,
6 different
Walking
fields
X,
of
can you
science
still
disagree
end
with.
my
fine.
position,
We
even
can-
if
we
they
can
don't,
go
even
with
if they
it
don't
after
like you speaking on yours?
Walking X, just
Speaking on theirs.
please finish your stuff, and then
Well,
we can talk.
so like yeah, the moderation needs to happen if you guys actually want to hear like differentiating
It's
thoughts.
fine. No need to cry.
Okay.
Just do it.
I'll assume good faith in your end, Amender, and I'll assume you actually let me finish what I'm saying, considering I've been sat here listening to you for like an hour without even saying a single word. I tried to chime in earlier, but you said hold on. You're really stuck up on this hot and cold thing. So please, let me make my argument. So fictionalism, originating from the Sturm und Drang movement in a sort of continental tradition in the 18th century, really was developed, if you will, past the Enlightenment in a sort of quasi-merge between the Germanic idealist principles as well as like French liberal as well as Anglo like scientific empiricist tradition, if you will. So, most prominent writers on fictionalism are Feitinger and Fichte, who were both part of the Frankfurt University back in the 18th century and 19th century. And I would say in the 20th and 21st century, these theories have been largely adopted among many different schools of philosophy, including like postmodernism and I would say the sort of Anglo philosophies of empirical science.
You're gonna need to land this plane.
Are you saying that
I was asked the question, what is fictionalism? So fictionalism is the idea that things are, originally at least, considering it came from the German idealist school, that things are like science, or scientific theories, as much as like poetry and art and everything else, is sort of equally a fiction insofar as these things never actually exist, meaning if you can show me the atom of a good, or you can show me the atom of a man, you can show me the atom of whatever, these are all fictional concepts which are created, no, not hold on, which are created by cultural sort of theories.
Okay, he's just going to take over the VC?
Yes.
I don't really care about philosophy that much, like especially
you do.
talking about
But
things.
well, just
do.
FYI,
really.
walking. Just for starters, are you saying that transgender is it
No,
originates
I
from
never even used the word.
I'm asking, do you believe that transgenderism does that originate from fictionalism?
Oh no. I'm not even getting to my beliefs. I'm trying to represent your arguments, which I've very much heard that you made against
transgender
Stavia,
identity
which are
doesn't
specifically that
originate
things
from
like gender,
fictionalism. Nobody here
things like
talked about
male roles,
fictionalism.
things like social hierarchies are essentially fictional by definition,
So
and cultural
trans people
fictions.
are individuals where
Nobody's
their
speaking of
gender
that. Nobody's speaking of
identity
that.
differs
If anything,
from
you're
their
trying to put words in my
sex
mouth right now.
assigned
I haven't
from
even used
birth.
any of those words.
And these things have
You're
been
afraid, bro.
documented.
You're
These
afraid.
things have been
It's
documented.
fine. If you radicalize it, you don't want to hear differentiating
with
opinions,
roots
it's
of
fine.
diverse
But it's not
cultures
very
from
much a
human
debate.
biology. Walking X. It's not really a debate.
You're
is
speaking
it,
over
right?
me.
Because you're going against basic history and
Oh,
anthropology.
now you're accusing me of making arguments that I never made? Great job,
Cross-gender
dude.
identities
Great
have
job. Great debate, bro,
existed
by the way.
for centuries. Indigenous and global cultures have long recognized and named
Uh-huh,
genders
uh-huh.
outside of the typical male-female
So we're not going to be
binary.
able to have a discussion, eh? Do you want me to
Can
leave the
Walk-
channel? Do you
Walk-
I'm
want me
saying
to
that
mute
that's the
myself
rebuttal.
again? And
Go ahead
what?
and mute yourself.
This
You're
is the definition of
completely capable of
radicalization,
having
by
a
the way.
conversation.
To land the
Like-
plane. Like I want
Yeah.
you to. Okay, so let's not try to like steelman anybody. It's like what do you think about the topic?
What do I think? Well, I will try one more time out of good faith to explain my position without hopefully being interrupted or being told what my position is and then having some steelman or strawman argument against it.
Make your
So,
point.
my position is,
because I got it.
yes.
land it.
My position is that I am a fictionalist insofar as that I think that Feitinger and Fichte were onto something very huge there, which I very much subscribe to the ideas of Vico, Giambattista Vico, if anybody is familiar, with the idea that, history is not linear whatsoever. In my opinion, it's cyclical. And upon studying history, you can see sort of reoccurring patterns, not things that repeat themselves, but things that sure do rhyme, as Toynbee said. And one of those things is certainly like hierarchical roles between societies and the way they order themselves. If you look at classical societies like Hellenistic Greece or Rome, if you look at the Peloponnesian Wars and how women sort of conglomerate together and rebel against men until the Peloponnesian Wars stop. If you look at the other day, the early mythos of the Roman Republic of kidnapping women and then creating their society, right? It doesn't fall at all within our own cultural linear progressive view of history, which originated with Karl Marx.
Hall and not an actual conversation.
Yeah,
it's like extremely. It's like I don't really understand. Like,
so I haven't finished my views yet.
Oh, go ahead.
So what you can see with all these high cultures, which have lifespans, just like people do, is when they start dying, they start adopting self-destructive principles, which decrease birth rates, which decrease autonomy over its own borders, which decrease things like being able to unite under a flag and get shit done. And this is exactly what happened to Rome. This is exactly what happened to Troy. This is exactly what happened to Egypt. This is exactly what happened to India. This is exactly what happened to the Qing dynasty. To the point where when the Greeks showed up in Egypt, they had to be dressed like women because transgenderism was adopted to be part of their aristocracy class. That being said, where are all these empires now? Where's the Roman Empire now? Where's the Roman Empire when it became custom to marry a transgender boy,
people?
Right? Whilst being the emperor. Hadrian was married to a trans.
Last I checked,
right?
transgender
How long did it
people
take from Hadrian to the fall of the Roman Empire?
Oh God. Okay, so walking X is like whatever you're doing. I don't know. It's like extremely unhealthy. It's like literally you're just doing like a gish gallop of like things that are like not related to anything. I don't know where you're getting this idea that like whatever he left. I mean, that was like crazy stuff. Okay, sorry, Salamander. It's like I don't know why I let that guy talk, but it's like made zero sense.
I mean, let's also just be fair, right? That transgender identity does not originate from fictionalism. Fictionalism is a
yeah. I'm not sure what he was on about.
Yeah, I mean, like that's.
Yeah, I don't think he was aware of what he was going on about. But
I mean, philosophically, it just doesn't. I mean, if the fact that we can observe many different cultures throughout history that are able to exhibit a third gender, if you will, and it has been even discovered among Western civilization. You could look at pre-Nazi Germany, where they were able to observe differences of sex and gender. It was only until post World War II, where you got them destroying the books of this knowledge. The question is, the problem is that a lot of people, they like to attribute transness as it in and of itself an ideology, when in reality it is the anti-trans ideology. It is the anti-trans person that has to ignore reading books. I've had many discussions of anti-trans people where they say that they cannot read any of these quote unquote gender books because it will poison their brain. I got news for you.
I find that to be pretty hilarious as someone who would take the same position that they do on the topic more broadly.
So if somebody
now
has,
I'm sad that we stopped our conversation, Salamander, because I think we were getting to somewhere that was like much better. But yeah, I got baited. Sorry, man.
Gwynblade says Roman Empire collapse equals trans toilets. Confirmed? Question mark.
God damn it. Dude,
I feel like something that's also relevant here is I'm not making the argument that like X surgery and X bathroom policy is bad for society. I'm just making the semantic argument of are trans women or not.
But I think understand that, when we have like women's bathroom, for example, because I think, the bathroom argument is kind of relevant when you're talking about these things, because the reason I say trans women are women is because I don't want to be a cunt, right? And I want to extend like people that are trans, like the respect that they deserve, right? And it's like, and I don't want to make their lives harder, right? Just because they're different from how I am, right? I'm not trans. It's like I don't know how it feels to be trans. It's like I wouldn't dare to say I know how it is, right? It's like I can guess, I can have like a guess, but I wouldn't know, right? And the moment you're saying that trans women are not women, the only other option that we have into this society is to say that trans women are men, right? And the moment you're saying that, that has consequences in society, right? And those consequences are, well, you're gonna have to have like a specific place where you're changing, in a specific place where you're going to the bathroom, and so on, right? And those things are important, and those things have like real can have like really bad consequences, right? Especially since, you know, if you're looking at like what the outcomes are, right? Like trans women are being aggressed more, right, than cis women, right, in bathrooms, right? And imagine if you're gonna say, well, trans women are men, so they have to go into men's bathroom, right? So you're gonna have like Caster Semenya, right? She's gonna have to go to a men's bathroom, right? You're gonna have people, you know, that have all the secondary sexual characteristics of a female that have to go into a men's bathroom.
Yeah, well, I wasn't
I
making
don't
that
think
statement about the bathroom.
I wasn't
like I
saying
said.
you are. That's so. What
Okay.
I was saying is that, you know, it's an extension, right? So if you're going to say trans women are men, you know, that's where society is going to go towards, right? It's going to go towards this small minority being even more oppressed, right, than it is already. And it's you know, being trans is not an easy thing to be today as it is,
I
right?
mean,
But if you're going to say that, and if the society is going to say that, then it's going to just make it worse. It's not going to make it better.
I agree with what you're saying, but I still think that the semantic argument is important, because I don't want to surrender the logic behind why I would say trans women are women or trans men are men in the interests of purely the ends justifying the means. Because I think there are good semantic arguments to say that you could, you know, classify trans women as women. And obviously it is a semantic discussion, but I don't think we should just sidestep that just to say like, well, if we called them men, lots of bad stuff would happen, because obviously like we're interested in, you know, in the truth, and we're interested in, you know, obviously like what the words mean. So like
Daniel,
that's important. You know?
Daniel, have you at any other point given your definition of woman? And if you haven't, can you give it now?
What do you mean?
Like, how would you define the word woman under your framework?
Oh, how I would define
Yeah.
Well, maybe like not just women, but, you know, like in general, like
Yeah.
gender, right? So
yeah, if you want to define gender, then
no,
then you can, you know, in such a way that I can,
yeah. So
that someone can tell the
I
difference
do have
between
like
a man and
like a definition, right? And I'm gonna also put it in the side chat, right? And
Please do.
you can look it up, right?
Okay. Someone who lives up to a social construct that heavily associates with phenotype and certain aesthetics and behaviors. Okay, can I try to modify this to make it be a definition for woman specifically? I would say my guess of your definition of woman would be someone who lives up to feminine social constructs. Feminine social constructs being those that heavily correlate with the with female phenotype and certain aesthetics and behaviors. I think the issue with this would be some people might not in any way live up to the social construct that is historically tied to females, but they would call themselves a woman, like an extreme tomboy, to use that earlier.
Yeah, sure. That's why in my definition it doesn't say it's 100%. It just says it heavily correlates. But there's also like the option of like, yeah, it could not, right? It's like
well, I mean, if you do that, then you fall into, if you say it's not a 100% but a heavy correlation, then that wouldn't fall into
so
the
you know what the problem is? The problem is like I don't think anybody can have like a definition that is like 100% inclusive. Right?
Well, the one I gave about the SRY gene, I've been 100% consistent.
No,
but
that's a definition maybe for what, for female,
yes.
But even that might not be right? It's like again, it's like even when it comes to sex, even when it comes to sex,
I feel like
biology,
you showed
sex is not.
I feel like you showed the greatest possible counter to my definition, and to use I think Amender's language.
No, what I'm saying is that like even like in biology, it's like sex is not that clear cut, right? Like even it's like you're talking to biologists, and they're gonna tell you,
even sex is bimodal.
Yeah.
Like even sex shows bimodal characteristics, but
I would say
even
sex is phenotypically bimodal, but I base it off genotype because that's not because I would say genotype is more cut and dry than phenotype.
That's fine if you do that, but I don't think the average biologist is stating that biological sex is like this one thing, right? I mean, like there are some people will say it's the presence of the Y gene, like the Y chromosome, whatever. Some people will say that like it's the production of small and large gametes is what matters. Some people will say it's functioning reproductive systems that matter.
Yeah, the reason I'll look at those definitions right now and explain why I think they don't really work. Let's use the large gamete one, something that produces large gametes as the definition for female. I don't think it would work because if we look at
I don't even think it
earliest
works like
stages.
Based on genotype, like what you're talking about. There are numerous instances where genotype, it gets really confusing, even to experts.
That's why I say, because it goes into gene determinism, and that's not actually a factor that's like 100% reliable, right? Because as I'm saying, like we are just like pieces of like chemical reactions happening.
There's a reason I said functioning SRY gene.
Yeah, but again, it's like you might have an SRY gene that's not functional. So it's like, what does that make you?
Yeah, someone who has an SRY gene that's not functional would fail to.
What does that make you?
That
no,
would
but what does it make you? Does it make you a male instantly, or it's like
if you have a non-functional SRY gene, that would make you female.
Okay.
Well, the question I would have is,
I mean, can I share something real quick?
I
wanted to pull up specifically a person that has a complete androgen insensitivity syndrome. And is everybody here over 18? Like,
yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to share this very quickly, and this is entirely designed. There will be nudity, so if you don't want to watch the stream,
do not do
watch
that.
it.
That's a bad idea.
It is entirely for educational purposes, and it is not designed for anything like that. Anyway, so if you observe right here is a photograph of an XY individual, as in genotypically they would be male, with CAIS in. No, it's a complete androgen insensitivity syndrome, meaning they possess boobs and vagina. Despite having XY, she has had no feminizing surgery, and her breasts have developed spontaneously in the presence of estradiol derived from testosterone. So
in this case there would be internal testes, though, correct?
No. They have complete androgen insensitivity syndrome, meaning their genitals resemble exactly female.
All right.
Can you send me this can you send the link in the side chat so I can examine this more closely?
Yeah, it is called Brain Gender by Melissa Hines. It is an entire book. This is specifically page 51 in the PDF.
Real quick, like, when we talk about like the SRY gene, I just feel like, when we're making categorizations off of biology, I don't really understand the obsession to try and make it into a binary, right? Because the realities of nature are not binary. Now, you can find binaries if you want to. For example, you could say like the production of small and large gametes could be a binary. The presence or the absence of an SRY gene could be a binary. But the way that actually manifests in someone's biology and reproductive capabilities, which is the main reason why we categorize sex in the first place, the reality of that is that neither of those things actually do tell us very much about the plurality of people, right? For example, that you might say that someone with an SRY gene is male, but then we know.
Gene, yeah.
So
like you might say that. I mean, is it functioning in Swyer syndrome or is it not functioning? I don't know.
In Swyer syndrome, it's not functioning.
It's malfunctioning. It means that you are resistant to I believe the hormones that make you, because around 6 weeks you get the hormone. Yeah. You're around 6 weeks you get the hormones to become like either a male or a female. Everyone starts out as a female, and around 4 to 6 weeks, you get a hormone that decides whether you're a female or male.
Oh yeah, Amender,
so the question I
Googled
have
it,
is,
and individuals with complete androgen insensitivity syndrome do in fact have internal testes. So similar to the previous case where I said that that yes, it
But
was
I mean, if we
a
observe somebody like that, would we really say that those people, they are not women? I guess like you're forcing the binary where even through intersex conditions, it's not as simple as a binary. It is bimodal. You also seem to agree that it is as well bimodal. Given the fact that there exists such significant changes of intersex characteristics, is it fair to say that it is possible that there is your male typical or female typical brains, which can go in one direction or another, which could result in somebody feeling internally that they are separate from that of their external genitalia?
I think that's possible, but I don't think the current studies are sufficient enough to show that.
so
real
here's a
quick,
question
so-
I have.
Oh yeah, go on.
Okay, so I have a series of questions. The first one I would like to say, okay, on language, do you believe it is descriptive or prescriptive?
Descriptive.
Well, I'm asking Home Dog. I don't know their name.
Salamander? Me?
Salamander. Yeah.
I mean, I think language can
I
probably
just feel like answering it.
be descriptive and prescriptive depending on the
Wait,
case.
but I'm pretty sure. Okay, so which one do you lean towards?
Once I want to make sure I have an accurate reading of these terms. Observation, focus on. Yeah, I would say that. I would say that with regard to sex, I take a descriptive definition rather than a prescriptive.
All right, so that's pretty good for me. Okay. The next one I would have is, do you believe there is people within your category that somebody would describe in a group of people, in a demographic of people, would describe as a woman, but you would disqualify?
Huh? Yeah, I think I hold a very
All right.
unique view. Yeah.
So the question I would have is, how do you create a definition that would serve as a test for the sufficient definition of what a woman is, while also maintaining the the descriptive character of the word? And go.
Well, can you repeat that? I'm not sure what you're asking me to do.
All right, so give me a criteria of what would make something a woman or not a woman, right?
Yeah,
That's
I
the
would-
distinction.
yeah, I would
Distinction was
say-
true. Wait, give me a second. The
Okay.
description, but you must also maintain the prescriptive nature of the word. And go.
Why do I need to maintain the prescriptive nature of the word?
Because you told me that
I said descriptive.
that language it's descriptive.
Yeah, sorry,
So you'd have
I think you said prescriptive just a second ago.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. Descriptive.
Yeah, it's fine.
Because you believe that's what language is, so you must also maintain that character. And now go.
Yeah, I would say that that my definition for woman would be adult human female, and I think, and if anybody fails to meet
Give me a
any of
second.
those, sure.
But those obviously will disqualify people that would undoubtedly be called women in other contests. So I believe you have failed the challenge there. I gotta go get my my fucking fillets. I'll be right back.
I'm not quite sure what I failed. If I failed at having a definition
typically we
that everyone
determine
else
sex
agrees with, then I would agree that my
we determine sex based on looking at external genitalia, and then from there live that person's life in the socially acceptable way of that, male or female, depending on what genitalia that they had. Considering that there exist people with the complete androgen insensitivity syndrome or partial, doctors would look at this and then would establish a specific genitals despite the fact it is incorrect, being the way that they synthesize testosterone, separate from that of typical testosterone synthesization. They performatively live their life female because they were told that they are female.
Yeah, I would say they live their life in a way that is typical for females, despite not being a female themselves. I don't see the issue with that.
So then you believe that sex is different from gender?
I I don't believe we've been talking. I don't have a definition for gender, so I don't think I could.
Have you done any
like I
reading
said,
on gender?
Actually, I would be honest here and say I haven't read book length treatments on from either side. Really, my perspective is more self formed.
Okay, I would definitely take the time to read a book on gender to understand the full perspective, because it goes pretty deep. But it's just referring, it's a very broad category that is referring to constructed roles, the behaviors, and the identities that society associates with the biological categories.
Okay, well,
you are
I
able
guess I
to
would say my issue
establish
with-
that somebody can, for example, have a vagina, yet have XY chromosomes. And because they had a vagina, they basically live their entire life female, because that's how we determine somebody to be male or female. Internally, they may not feel comfortable with this. There's numerous different things that cause changes in the behavior or how somebody might want to perform. Right?
I would say about that whole idea is somebody can live in a feminine way and not be a female themselves and conform to society's expectations of females despite not being one.
Gotcha.
I don't.
Well, let me ask you this, right? I'm going to post something in side chat.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a man or a woman to you?
I would say they look like how men typically look, but I don't know for sure.
You don't know if that's a man or a woman?
I don't think I can know with a lot of people. Like,
hey, Daniel, is that a man or a woman?
Kind of looks like a man.
Well, okay. Let's try and get. Okay, I understand the whole trap of like, hey, it's actually a trans man. Like, yeah, sure. But you have to understand that from like Salamander's perspective, the only thing that really matters when identifying men and women, and from my understanding, is just is the sex biologically, internally. So
well, the question I have with that
I've already addressed that this isn't as simple as simply looking at that. The problem is that you're looking at. I brought up as an example somebody who has complete androgen insensitivity syndrome.
Yeah, I agree.
And so
That's
when you
a good
observe
example.
them externally, they are very clearly female. Everything about them looks female, but they are XY. So it's not as simple as that.
I agree with
and
you.
just FYI,
Wait,
right?
so
Just
the
to
question
point
I
out,
have-
right? My understanding and my definition would be a lot easier to say identify man and woman. If somebody asked me, is this a man or a woman? I look at the performative nature of man and woman and determine whether or not
that's the way you guess
or woman.
Yeah,
No, it's not just the way. Hold on, it's not just the way I guess. It's the way that everybody operates. Everybody operates.
Let me just flesh out this point, please. I haven't said anything for a while.
You don't have any blood. You don't have a blood machine for every person you meet.
We're getting away from what I was trying to simplify the debate to give a clear pass fail, and now we're getting off the rails again.
Yeah. So real quick, okay. So like, all as I'm saying to that is it depends, I suppose, on what your theory of gender identity is. But for example, if I saw someone that looks like a man, but they sincerely told me they identify as a woman, then I would say I'm incorrect in identifying them as a man, or you know. So it's not just the way you perceive people. I think the self-identity is important.
Okay, yes, this is why I was saying that gender has multiple facets. I agree. There is the internal gender expression, and then there is the external gender expression, where somebody, for example, internally feels woman, but they externally do not display that. So that's fine, right? That's understanding differences between sex and gender. I'm saying that my method is able to fully encapsulate this, as well as including intersex conditions, whereas people that try to establish the very clear binary characteristic
your method is good
have
for
a
giving
hard
us a
time
strong inductive
explaining.
case on what people's gender identity probably is, right? That's what your method is for, and I agree with you that it's a good method, and it doesn't mean you're going to be right 100% of the time, because there might be cases where you think someone is a man but they actually identify as a woman, or you might think someone is biologically female but they're actually male, or whatever, right? So there's always going to be exceptions, but I agree that generally your process is reliable.
The issue I'm having now is it seems as though our buddy does not actually subscribe to the idea that language is descriptive. Because if his metric is something we actually cannot tell by looking at somebody, and we can only engage in sort of a proxy or a facsimile of that, right? How can you possibly be what we actually care about? Clearly, we care about secondary characteristics that transmute and reliably predict within a range of where people would fall.
You would live
So
your
if
life
we
in
are going to
confusion, right?
use, if
that
we
was
are
the
going to
case.
use a prescriptive definition, I will ask you now, who determines language for who? And go.
Is he asking me to answer about
Yeah, I think it's
prescriptive?
Yes.
Who determines language for who? I think in a
Mhm.
lot of cases people determine get their own use of language from their surroundings, but I would say in special cases, like my example with female, it's something that I determine for myself what that definition is.
But
Okay,
when we're talking
so
about
the
language,
source
though,
is
language is clearly we clearly change language all the time, right? Like words, they keep changing, and the reason they keep changing is because maybe our understanding of the external world is changing, right? Maybe we understand things better, right? So, and because we understand it better, it's like, oh, we actually this thing, it's not it's not describing reality as it used to, right? It's not as reliable in describing reality, right? So language is by definition is not prescriptive, right? It's like it's
okay.
just
So
descriptive. We are describing reality with it, because otherwise what's the
okay.
point?
So the prescriber of language in this case is that of the individual, and to that I say zip zop, zip zop, zip zop, zip zop, zoo.
Exactly.
So,
Baby bongo. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, language is obviously a tool of communication, and ultimately, I think the gender debate is one of equivocation, like all over the place, right? Like no one can really agree on what woman even refers to, and that's the problem, because obviously the
I've
word
already
itself,
addressed.
yeah, the word
addressed it
itself doesn't.
clearly.
Sorry,
I think
I've addressed it
I
clearly.
think that's important, the idea of equivocation
Well,
here, because someone
fine,
might
I'm just talking about the
someone might
scope of
have
it,
the
kind of.
idea that gender is the role that we perform in every day. But if somebody performs in a role and then says that they don't identify with that role, then the person who claims that these roles are the defining metric will betray that in favor of making
Yeah,
this
and I
person.
think people make
what
a
happens
few
is
missteps on that. Like if someone's like, let's say someone's born female, right, and they identify as a woman, but they present themselves in a masculine way, I would take that to be a type of masculine gender expression. It's just that's like having some masculine gender expression. I don't think is enough to make you a man definitively, right? So
the
that's
issue
the
I have
difference.
is it seems as though we cannot actually offer a sufficient test that would not disqualify a whole heap of people that would be in either category. That says to me that we don't say the people are defunct. We say maybe the measuring stick is off, and
Well,
we find
my
we keep
definition
trying.
is a
We
true
shut up.
dichotomy.
We find no, it is not a true dichotomy. Because
Sure
there's
it is.
people that are in the middle of the bimodal distribution, and you can't give me a test of determining either. So I don't even know if it's a dichotomy, friend. Anyway, so the thing I'll continue, right? And so I think the issue is that you will never find this. These institutions you engage with are refracted several times between you and the individual, and it's so bent compared to each person that the tail end distribution of these manifestations cannot be encapsulated in one clear test that would not disqualify uses in other cases. It is only consistent that we use identity to capture this, because it is only then that we would capture as people use the word.
So
I'd like to restate on my definition being a true dichotomy. My definition of female was a person who lacks a functioning SRY gene, with my definition of male being a person who does not lack a functioning SRY gene, which is a true dichotomy, meaning it excludes nobody.
Oh, okay. So the question I now have is, why is that important?
I would say that's the best. I would say that genetic component is the best predictor of phenotype, as compared to any other.
Okay, so here's the issue you just did, is now we have a foundation of sand and you are just turning over things in a bucket. You've not actually given me anything, Mono. I have asked you, I have asked you for the reason why we should do this, and you simply said to accomplish this task, and obviously that's what I'm asking about.
So it sounds like, I think we spoke about like the what was it called again? The thing that we were looking at earlier, like something androgen sensitivity.
I would like him to address that before we get
Androgen
away from this,
insensitivity.
if we may.
Yeah,
Complete androgen insensitivity.
This is relevant. I'm not trying to like steer him away. I'm just saying that like it seems like the the thing that you're talking about when you're talking about like the predictor of certain phenotypical developments. If that androgen sensitivity syndrome that we were talking about earlier has a functioning SRY gene, but it doesn't actually develop those phenotypes, then it seems like
it does in the
that
sense of
particular-
internal testes.
So real quick,
Wait, but that
I
doesn't
have
matter
to-
how it uses.
Okay, but then what phenotypes are you specifically trying to develop?
So hold on real quick. I wanted to like address there was something that was said earlier by Ghost where they were saying that we don't really have like a good definition of woman. And I have to get going real soon. If you guys are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, consider subscribing. We've been growing for a little while. But women in terms of sex, there's two separate definitions. There's one in terms of sex and the other one is referring to gender. Woman in terms of sex is XX chromosomes, 18 plus, typically resulting in secondary sex characteristics and primary sex characteristics such as large gametes, fat placement around hips and chest, less on the belly, diamond-shaped chin, and receded brow ridge. Women in terms of gender refers to being 18 plus and predicating an internal sense of sex, being female. That is what it is referring to.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm not
so
sure if,
given the
if
fact
it-
that
if-
our, can I just say this before we go?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
fine.
given the fact that our friend believes that language is prescriptive and is individually
I gotta go, y'all.
subscribed, I will offer him this before I go.
Thanks for inviting me.
Zip,
Daniel.
zip, 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 zim, blip, blip.
Wait, real
And
quick,
I
Amanda,
want you to
before you
respond
jump
in
off, Amanda.
specifics to those.
Yeah, wait, real quick, because Amanda's leaving, and he just addressed that to me. Amanda, I don't know if you got me confused, but I never said that you guys don't have a definition for women.
Well, then
I mean,
nobody
I
could
agree with
agree
you that
on a
there's-
definition. Nobody could agree on a
Oh,
definition.
yeah,
I
in
think
that
this
sense,
is a
yeah,
conclusive definition that everybody can agree with.
Oh, I think everybody could agree with it, but what I'm saying is that like whether we're talking about biological female or whether we're talking about the gender identity of a woman, it does seem like people on both sides do struggle to kind of articulate one definition, and they often end up describing different things. You can even see it from the side chat. My definition of woman was quite different to Daniel's definition of woman. That's not necessarily a problem. It's just that we are describing different things, and I think it's important to highlight those differences. That's all I'm saying.
Well, this
But I
is
think
why
that's
like
just
I
language and how
require
it
that
works.
people understand
Yeah,
the
yeah.
difference between sex and gender as what science does, as what multiple fields of science acknowledge, and as what multiple cultures have exhibited. And despite fictionalism, as what somebody had said earlier. Anyway, I appreciate you guys very much. You guys have a great rest of your night. Bye-bye.
I appreciate the talk.
Yeah, see you, mate.
We're taking calls, though. Let's take a call. Does anybody want to have a call, I guess? I don't fucking know, bro. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I hope you guys liked this. Did you guys like it? I liked it. I thought it was cool. It looks like I'm going to be helping out Daniel for his show for a little bit. He had a good showing. A lot of people thought that was pretty cool. I hope you guys liked it. I thought it was pretty neat. AWOL Thought says, that was interesting first. I'm glad you liked it. Glad you liked it. Glad you liked it. Stinklog saying, I think all of Discord is evil. You know, I've noticed that there's a lot of people on Discord that are really, honestly, just nasty, nasty human beings. Just really miserable people. AWOL says, I think Daniel needs to build up more of a rogues gallery so that he doesn't have to wait that long for the smoke to come up in his debates. Yeah, I don't know. He's doing it on the Modern Day Debate Discord. So I think like what happened was that the topic wasn't that interesting. The anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. It's like, who the hell wants to argue that? Who wants to argue that? Seriously. Let's see. Gwynblade says, one day, Amender, you need to go into a turf server and debate with one of them. It would be awesome content. Yeah, dude, it really would be. So here's the thing, right? The problem with that is I have morals. And people on Discord do not like being recorded. And honestly, kind of a moral gray area for me, where it's like, is it okay to just hop into a random VC and just start contentious arguments and only to like blast them all over YouTube? Is that the right thing to do? Let's try a poll. Let's see what y'all think.
Do you have someone on the phone that I can't hear?
No, Poon. It's just, no.
All right, cool.
Is it okay? Hold on. Let me see here. Let me just type this. Is it okay to go into right-wing Discord servers without consent and record and publish live there?
Well, you just claimed it. It doesn't matter. Like, that's the thing on Discord.
So I'm of the creed that I believe that it is immoral, despite the fact that these are unironic, really gross human beings. But go ahead and tell me what you guys think about the about that. Did the poll go up? Where's the poll? Is the poll there? I don't see the poll. Top chat.
Is this in your YouTube chat?
What the hell? Yeah, it looks like so far I got 5 votes. Let's see. AWOL says, I actually agree with you first. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I see a lot of people who make a lot of content like that, and it's kind of a low-hanging fruit, though. Yeah, it kind of is. It would be cool, though.
Are you talking about Grayson Bennett to us? That made me so mad that Grayson Bennett did that.
True. You know what? That's a good point. I'd be no better than Grace.
They put me making calligraphy into their content.
Ew.
And now they may have a clip of me doing my
Just doing calligraphy. Ew.
Like, no, but then
They just do it without anybody. Yeah, I think I'm on the side that it's immoral. I think it's immoral. So, like, the reason why I'm a bit conflicted, Poon, is because the people that I would be doing this to are just like, they're like hardcore right-wingers that are just like, yeah, I just think that women shouldn't have a right to vote.
Doing what Borat did?
Like, I mean, kinda, but it's like, you know, is that really the moral thing to do? Like, I don't know.
Think a little Machiavellian a little bit. Like what Borat did was he pretended to be a foreigner who went to America. So he tricked all the racist people like, oh, I'm making fun of him actually, right? He's like, hey, it's my wife. You know, like that's how he talks. And then, so what happened is.
Are you Citra? Why did you just do a Citra impression right there?
I was just impersonating, like trying to sound like Borat, but basically,
if you come here and talk,
what he did was he went to the evangelist churches. If you saw the movie, and he was revealing how stupid they were, and then he would act homophobic to like a redneck at a I don't know, is that a slur now?
A redneck?
Okay,
Redneck is a slur?
I was asking if it was. I was asking, but he would go to the redneck and he would act like say like homophobic stuff and like be talking just rhetorical homophobia and stuff. So like, yeah, we can take care of them. We should put them in the rodeo and get them or something like that. And the guy's like, yeah, we should. Like, and he's just revealing people as pieces of crap. You know what I mean? And it's actually pretty funny. So like, people aren't gonna hate on you for it, but controversy would come up these days. Like, they couldn't make that movie again. Borat. They couldn't make the Jackass movies again either.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. You know. Well, people try, but they can't.
Well, I think we'll probably call it from here. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was fun. We've got more debates coming up on Thursday. We're going to take more calls, have the good times. It's good stuff. I hope you guys had fun. I had fun. You guys have a great rest of your night. Bye. Oh, hold on a sec. Gwynblade says you have a title saying recording live and create your own room. I think you're covered. I suppose the issue would be if you went into a server that doesn't allow you to customize your room name. Yeah, so here's the thing, right? Like, I guess, yeah, that's typically what I've been doing, and that would be fine. But I guess, like, the question becomes, like, because these right-wingers, they say the most insane crap ever. And it's like they're not held accountable at all on these Discords. And it makes me go, man, I really wish people would just hear what these people have to say and realize, man, these are not justifiable people. These are like really nasty people. And so like part of me kind of just wants to record them without consent, but okay, I'll be good. Let's see. What did people say on the Q&A? Let's see. It's like equal. You should do it. It would be cool. Another no, don't do that. It's immoral. What the hell? All right, everybody. Y'all have a good night. Bye.
Good night, YouTube. YouTube, have a good night. Blah, blah, blah.